Gamagi opening the bowling. Here we go. As that one. And in classic European Cricket Network style, we're going to start with the wide. And we are looking forward to having a look at these two teams again. Obviously Hungary, you know, there's a few interesting players in there. You've got Abhishek Ketapal. He had a really good game yesterday. The protractor.
The protractor. Very off-putting his action. He comes in from literally mid-off.
Yeah, I've always said I wouldn't really know how to do is that one again. Yeah, struggling here, Wellingamagi, and 2 wides to start is over.
As more of a batsman, how would you? Does it put you off as a batsman that?
Well, I'd definitely say from what I've seen, obviously sitting here in the commentary box, it just looks like it's just so off-putting, as you said, and really struggling to have a look at what's going on as he finally gets this one straight. And so Thesant and Taranjit Singh just calls him in. It would have been close if it's a direct hit. Looks safe as Romania. First runs off the bat. But no, going back to the Ketapal, the protractor, I wouldn't know really how to attack him. It seems really off-putting.
Yeah, I think from his perspective, I only faced a few balls from him, but it's almost like you don't know where to look, and you're not sure what is it going to swing, is it doing anything, and then it kind of just comes up and down. But it is very off-putting. I've never really had to face anyone who's coming from that angle before.
As Wellingamagi comes in there, and it's going to be another wide. So it's the 3rd wide of the over already.
It just looks like he's struggling with his action a bit. He seems to be pulling it a bit. I don't know if he's trying to bowl a bit too quick. He just seems to pull it coming across and pulling that ball.
That'll be the pressure of Taranjit Singh at the other end. And he gets this one on, and well, it's a flashy drive, but it doesn't quite beat the infield. It's going to be a dot ball.
It's well fielded actually. He got down well. Came quite sharply off the bat.
Harsh Mandy on that. At point, you know, he can tweak it a little bit with his right arm off spin.
Mohandas can bowl a bit. I don't know if they're going to start with Mohandas from the other end, maybe.
Short.
Oh, that's a lovely shot.
Well, and that's going to go all the way. That's the first maximum of Romanian's innings. And Taranjit Singh just sees it early, rocks back, and well, that's going to go all the way. 6 runs.
That's hit the stadium, right flush on the stadium wall. That has gone miles. Right on the master sign. Boom. What a shot.
Yeah, it's a good way to start here for Taranjit Singh. You'd expect nothing less from the man. He carries such a lot of attention to his name, and I'm sure he's going to bring a lot of viewers on as they hear that Taranjit Singh's into bat. That's a good response, Wellingamagi, but he's punished that one through the covers. That's going to go through the infield. It's a lovely back foot punch from Singh. That's going to be another boundary.
This is a very strong over from Romania. You want to set a solid base in this power play, and I think, you know, they've set out a few wides, and then they've punished the bad ball.
Yeah, well, we've seen obviously in those overs just directly after the power play really bogged down those batsmen with the spinners, and going to look to build a really good platform here. That's a good response from Wellingamagi. Taranjit Singh just sees off the straight ball. Bit of respect.
I think that's clever batting. Look, you've already taken 14 off the over. There's no need to do anything silly at this point. Singh's obviously their talisman batsman. You know, it's clever. No, doesn't need to go after any decent balls here.
Well, that's a really good bit of bowling from Wellingamagi as he really finishes his over off well there. And well, at the end of the first over, Romania, they find themselves 14 for no loss. Well, as we see here,
that's a good finish to over from him. I mean, it's a tough over for Wellingamagi. He's finished strong though with 2 very decent balls.
Yeah, struggled just to start with. We just take a look at the lineups here. Obviously some names that we all recognise in there from the last couple of games. Abhishek Ketapal in there. Hoja, the wicket keeper. We know he can hit a long ball. I think it is going to be your man. And Mohandas facing up.
Bowls a very good slow ball. Disguises it well.
As it is going to be Mohandas coming in here. And so Thesant to face up on the other end. Just the one run off the one delivery face for Ramesh Thesant. Obviously Mohandas done really well recently with the ball, and he's going to look to continue his form here. He's got 2 more than capable batsmen of dispatching him over the top as they look to make the most of the power play. Good start, as it's going to be a dot ball. Good start from, that's the skipper there. Near mid-wicket. Marco Uja, he'll be looking forward to batting as well later on, as that's pierced through the infield. It should just be the one runner that's cut off by the man there. So after deep, Ashwanatharian does really well there. And again, really enjoying our time here in Malta. Been really well looked after by the Maltese Federation. And again, really good facilities here. Making the most of it as Taranjit Singh's back onto face. And that's just gonna, he's clipped that one off, and it's gonna be a big chase on for the man on the angle, and he's just gonna get that. He does it really well. And they end up coming just back for the 2. It's a really good bit of fielding, as we see here.
He did really well to pull that back there, because it looked as if, oh, at this point now, oh, it's gone. Oh, and then he's just almost flicked back. Has he touched the rope? That's the question.
I think he does all right there. Manages to get the ball back in play, and then as his body goes over the rope, does really well there. Just the 2 coming from it.
Well bowled. I mean, that's dug in that almost Yorker length. They've got to dug it out, and they've managed to get a run from it. So it's a very well, you know, it's a very well bowled actually. It's a good start to the over here from this Hungarian side.
Yeah, Sandeep Mohandas doing well. He's got 2 very well accomplished batsmen. And he just fends off, just respects the straight ball. And that's the thing, obviously, we're used to seeing T10 cricket here on the ECN. And it's just, I was speaking to young Louis Bruce just yesterday, and he was saying, just really struggling to adapt to T20 and just saying, you know, he hasn't got to go from ball 1.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've not really played much T10 stuff, and then all of a sudden in a short space of time, we had 2 events of T10, and it's a completely different mindset. You know, you talk about T20 being quite fast-paced and rapid, and you go then to T10, and it's a totally different ball game, and you have to completely adapt as a batsman, especially like Louis Bruce, to do that. And from then going back from that mindset of I've got to score a boundary almost ball by ball, to then look, T20, you've got a lot more time to pace yourself. You've got time to set yourself, use your singles, use your 2s, and pick a bad ball for go for boundary. And I think it is a difficult to change from one to the other at times.
Oh, and that's just going to be given a wide. It'll be interesting to get another look here. Yeah, good call from the umpire there, and we'll have a look at the officials for this game at the end of the over. And he looks to accelerate there. Does the Thisan, just doesn't quite plays round it there.
Bowls nice length, doesn't he? Mohandas, he gets it kind of right up into that block hole area. That one's slightly wide of the crease, and I quite like Mohandas. He's not got express pace, but he puts it into some decent areas. He's got a really nice slow ball, like I've said before as well.
Yeah, definitely. And as we have a look here, obviously after that, there's the updated standings there after what can only be described as a thrashing by the Czech Republic. Well, you can see that net run rate just over 2.1 now. And just a little bit of information about the officials for this game. Ruban Swanadian and Sandeep Harnal taking control in the middle. I think there might be a change there. The information might be incorrect. Shub is definitely out there.
This is a really big game for Romania, isn't it? Having lost that opening game to Malta, who obviously are still undefeated, they really have to come back strong with the Czechs performing well now.
Yeah, it's really going to be a tight competition at the top, as well, that's a big swing from Taranjit Singh as Wellingham Argy in that just wide of the off-stump corridor of uncertainty. And well, Taranjit Singh just struggling just a little bit here.
That's a really good first ball. I mean, he looks like he's getting into his rhythm a bit more now here.
It's really good to see Wellingham Argy. We've seen him throughout the last couple of days. Really talented player. As that's just fended into the offside. It should be a dot ball. And again, one of the things I've seen, obviously, with the Gibraltar lads is really good camaraderie with the team. Really good close unit.
Yeah, I think because we've been together so long and trained together so long, it does build that. And it is one thing we trying to build things on is that camaraderie between ourselves. And it does work in our favour sometimes.
Yeah. As that one's just fended off, back to the bowler.
You know, we're not that kind of team which has the quality and depth of other teams. And when you don't have that quality and depth, you have to kind of go to other things. And it's having that camaraderie and getting behind one another and knowing each other's games, really, to kind of try and use that advantage.
Yeah, being able to understand each other and in the field as well, obviously, big difference as comes in. It's going to be glance off the pads, and it's going to be a big chase on here. It's going to trickle away. He's got up the legs, and it goes all the way. I think that's going to be leg byes, as it looked like it glanced off the pads there. He's going to give runs. Well, it's come off the bat. There we go. Well, that's 4 runs for Taranjit Singh as Romania. They now move on to 24.
I think he'll be very happy with that. I think he would give a little wink to the umpire on the way past. That was a nice glance, but it did look like it came off his thigh pad.
He'll be more than happy to accept the runs as he moves to 17 off just 11 now. It's a really good response from Welligamagi. As that one is just dropped into the offside. And Jack Morrow in the chat just saying that Satyadeep Ashwanatharana is a great addition to the squad. I expect to have more depth to the Hungarian batting. I look forward to seeing him. I haven't seen him in the tournament yet. Look forward to seeing what he can do on one of the biggest stages here. There's that one. Here's off the bat. That's going to be a big chase for the man.
Should just be one here. They're going to go. They're going to go for 2. Oh, he's overthrown that.
It's well backed up by that man, Satyadeep. As that brings us to the end of the 3rd over. Romania, 26 for no loss.
That was a good response from Welligamagi. After a very difficult first over, he's come back strong there. I think Mohandas will obviously take the 2nd over now. Had a very strong first over himself. I think Hungary will be happy with the last 2 overs there. I'm not sure about yourself. I think they'll be glad after quite a challenging first over, they've come back strong.
Yeah, I think obviously early on here with the power play, obviously the restrictions on how many fielders you can have outside the ring, they're going to be happy with just the 26 off the first 3. The explosive batsman Taranjit Singh opening up. Obviously, it's gone pretty big, 19 off 3, but they managed to keep Sathisan at the other end pretty quiet. And they've kept the extras down to only the 5 at the moment.
I think extras in this format of the game are big.
As we see another one there. And it could be an extra one. There's going to be 2 wides there. Good running from Taranjit Singh. That's a good arm.
Oh, there could be overthrows here. Oh, dear. There's no real reason to go for the stumps there. The batsman was well inside his crease. And it's another extra run that Hungary are going to have to chase at the end then.
Well, every run's crucial. And we've seen that with so many close finishes over the last couple of days.
3 runs have come from that ball with the wide.
And again, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Hope everybody's doing well. And do get your thoughts across and any questions. Well, we'll try our best to answer them for you. This is full. So the Isan, well, that's the 1 shot. One-handed shot into the leg side. Should be another single. We'll just squeeze into the leg side. And Welligamagi collects it up. That brings the main man, Taranjit Singh, back on strike. It's an absolute peach of a delivery from Mohandas.
He's looking good, Mohandas. Really nice action, putting in really decent areas as a bowler. Singh just looking a bit, struggling against him a bit to try and get him away.
Well, again, this is the thing with T20s. You can give yourself just that little bit more time just to have a look. There is a straight, but you can just give it a bit of respect that it deserves. This is Fuller, and it's just going to be squared into the offside. No run. And a bit of chat about the wicket-keeper. And, well, the wicket-keeper, Stan Ahuja for Hungary. Thought he's done really, really well. And obviously, yourself a keeper in this tournament.
Absolutely.
There's a few questions about the reasoning behind your wearing the helmet, which we'll get to just after this delivery. Taranjit Singh flips that through, and he's timed that really, really well. It's a big chase on the man here, and it's going to go all the way. That's 4 runs. It's another boundary for Taranjit Singh, and well, if you go slightly off your mark here, you're going to get punished against a batsman like Singh.
It's a beautiful shot, actually. He's just flicked that effortlessly. Just drifted it slightly down leg, and Taranjeet Singh has punished that.
And yeah, obviously a little bit of chat about your helmet, and we'll wait for the end of the over and we'll have a little discussion. And you've already told me it's a justifiable cause. Taranjeet Singh burst through the infield, and that's going to go all the way for another 4. That's a glorious cricket shot. Textbook stuff from Taranjeet Singh. And that adds another 4 to the total.
And this is what we go back to saying before about T10 and T20. You don't need to hit every ball for a boundary in T20. You've got time. So we saw a very good start there from Mohandas. And Taranjeet Singh just kind of eased himself into over. We've now gone 8 runs in the last 2 overs, and he's punished the 2 bad balls.
Well, going to see if Mohandas can get a response here to finish his over. Oh, and Taranjeet Singh goes big when there's a man there, but it doesn't matter. That's going to clear the rope. That's gone all the way. 6 runs for Taranjeet Singh. And what a way to finish the over. Mohandas starting well, but, well, it's a really, really good way to finish the over for Taranjeet Singh, as at the end of the 4th, Romania, they find themselves 44 for no loss. So going on to your helmet, Joe.
Right, so to be honest, I used to be a wicketkeeper as a junior, as a youth, up to the age of about 15, and then from 15 to 16, our youth setup, we split into one team, and there was always another keeper who was just slightly better than me, and that's when I changed to bowling. And I'd always, through the youth setup, always used a helmet to keep in, and it was this probably just a bit later than this time last year when we went on tour with the national team, and because of lack of wicketkeepers, I needed to stick the gloves on, and I tried to stand back at the time, and it just felt odd. Didn't feel right wearing a cap instead of the helmet, and so I went straight back to the helmet, and it just feels right. Feels comfortable for me.
Yeah, you got to do whatever's comfortable for you. As Wellingamagi continues here. And that's a peach of a delivery, and the skipper for Romania, Sathisan, as well, not to get a nick on that. But absolutely, you got to do what keeps you comfortable, and if it keeps you performing better with the gloves, you've got to do what works for you.
Yeah, I think we see it a lot especially in the European cricket. A lot of the batsmen wearing caps to bat with.
Wellingamagi. Short to Thisan, doesn't quite time this, and there's a man out there, so it should just be kept to the single, and he does well.
Yeah, didn't quite get hold of that one, but like I was saying, I think you see a lot of the guys batting caps nowadays, and with the change in the times, obviously with safety, it's probably best to wear a helmet, but you find a lot of guys, I don't know if I will always wear a helmet to bat, but I know people who don't, and they found it very, very uncomfortable having never batted in a helmet before.
Taranjeet Singh just trying to get on top of this as Wellingamagi drops this a little bit back of a length. Well, your teammate Kenroy Nestor, we very rarely see him with a helmet.
Yeah, we do tell him. You can only tell him so much though, can't you?
That's another good shot. Hasn't quite timed this. It's straight to the man. That's a good bit of fielding.
Yeah, that's good infield fielding there. It kind of got his body behind the ball, but took it really cleanly on the ring.
Yeah, and just sort of in that area from the bowler. Doesn't really know where to go back or forward. It's a good bit of bowling from Wellingamagi. Good comeback. Well, he's a man out there. It's just, he does well not to time it well enough. It's going to be the single. There could be buzzers, but they do well. Taranjeet Singh sees it early, doesn't quite time it. A bit off the toe edge.
Probably did him a favour, actually. I think if he'd have timed that slightly better, that's coming straight down the fielder's throat.
That's Sathisan, he finds the edge. And Sathisan just looking like he's going to play a bit of an anchor role here as we come to the end of the 5th over. Romania 46 for no loss. And there's a few questions as well. Obviously, we saw a really unfortunate injury to Kieran Ferrari yesterday. You got an update for us on Kieran?
No update as yet. Unfortunately, obviously, it's play it by ear at this point. The problem is with hamstrings, you're not really sure how it's going to be. Is it just a strain? Is it a pull? Is it a tear? I think we're erring on the side of caution at the minute. He's a doubt, obviously, for tomorrow's game. He's obviously a doubt for the rest of the tour, but obviously we'd love to see him back. He's had an amazing tour in the field, but most especially with the ball. I mean, yesterday, his spell at the time against the Czech had really pulled us back into the game along with Matt Whelan, and they were really starting to get bogged down a bit. And it was, I think, that injury, all of a sudden things started to change on for theirs. We were looking at keeping them below 160, and or 150 even, and they ended up pushing up to 180. But he's a fantastic character as Kiwi, really good player, and with bat, ball, I feel, and he's an even better wicketkeeper.
Well, yeah, we had a little conversation about it yesterday, didn't we? And you were just saying, just this talk, just trying to have a look at a couple other options in terms of from a Gibraltar perspective.
Yeah, I think we came here obviously at the end of last year, the tour here, and I think there was a decision made. Look, we need that extra spin option. I think this time round we've seen that with the likes of Matt Whelan coming in.
There's a change of bowling for the final over this power play, as it's Harsh Mandian as he comes in, and it's just going to be the one off his first ball.
Yeah, we've been looking at different options. I think it's worked well, the slow ball option this tour. I think pace off the ball works sometimes.
Well, we've really seen that again, that period after the power play. They just get bogged down and make the most of the fielder being spread. As Sathisan, again, just struggling to pick the length of this. It's late on it and just goes into the leg side just for the one run.
Harsh Mandian's a very good player, isn't he? I've liked what I've seen from him, both with bat and ball.
Really, really talented cricketer. Not scared to bring out the expansive shots when he needs to. Speaking of, well, Taranjeet Singh makes the most of the power play. That's going to be one bounce, 4 runs. Taranjeet Singh quickly moves on to 39 off just 23 deliveries. So you take a look at the replay here, and it's just lofted over. Again, very aesthetically pleasing. One bounce over the rope, 4 runs.
He's a very good player, isn't he, Singh? But very aesthetically pleasing. He plays his shots.
He goes again through the infield, and I think he's got a hand on that. So it's going to be a chase on here, but I think it's just going to trickle away for another boundary as it does. And Taranjeet Singh making the most of what was a bit of a more flighted shot from Mandian.
Got a hand to it for sure. Didn't quite get enough of a hand. Didn't get the body behind it. But it's another well hit shot from Singh.
There's Ali Farasat in the covers there for Hungary. Can he have a reply here? Bit short, it's a bit of a leg spinner, and I don't know if he's picked it, but it would be a really good catch if he can get there. Oh, well, that's an absolute outstanding catch from the man, deep on the leg, so you can see just how much that wicket means for Hungary, as it's the man out there, Sandeep Mohandas. He's just been replaced to bowl, and well, he's been stuck out on the deep boundaries. We take a look here, he does the hard work of getting around there, it just sticks.
That's a brilliant catch. He's on the run there, he's not got time to set himself, he's had to run hard at that. He's caught it running in quite low down, below his waist. Fantastic catch from Mohandas. Never looked in doubt, really. Quite comfortable fielder. Brilliant. Well, brilliant from Hungary.
It's a huge wicket. And well, Taranjeet Singh, he has to go. As he goes for just the 43 runs, just short of that 50. And strike rate of 172. 6 fours and 2 maximums in that. Sathisan ends up, he's going to be on strike.
That's a huge wicket, isn't it, for Hungary?
He'll really be a game-changing batsman there as the new batsman comes in.
Sathisan's now got to start to try and look to push on himself. Obviously, with Singh, he was playing the anchor role. With Singh on, he's going to have to now start to take a bit more control of this game and start pushing his strike rate up.
And it's the leggy again, and this one's just fended back to end the over from Sathisan. So, when he got dispatched over the boundary, did Mandian, but it's a good comeback, and he got the all-important wicket of Taranjeet Singh. And at the end of the power play, Romania, well, they're 56 for 1. And the new batsman is Abdul Shakur, the wicketkeeper for Romania. As you see there, Romania, well, they've looked to make the most of the power play. And they're going to really look to build on from this platform that Taranjeet Singh has provided. And, well, Sathisan now is the in batsman. It's 5 off 11, though. It's going to really look to build on. And we've seen a couple of times batsmen just early on taking a bit of time just to get going, and they really accelerate later on in the innings.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to that point of you've got time in T20, especially at the start. You know, you don't need to go after it from ball 1. You've got time to build an innings. Unlike the Czechs in the last game, who did literally just go from ball 1, and they've ended up hitting an absolute mammoth total. But yeah, no, I think it's a very good point.
As we see, our man, the protractor, Ketapals into the attack. And he starts with a wide down the leg side. Have to bowl that one again.
Bit of a loosener. He's normally really quite accurate. That's the one thing I'd say about him. He comes in from a very, very odd angle, but he does get it. He's very accurate with his bowling normally. Which I've always been taught to run in straight and then not veer off after the wickets.
As you see here again, in that angle, and just the one loosener, and he's straight in. Well, just struggling to pick the one up is Valetta here in the mid wicket.
Good sharp running that.
Yeah, really good sharp running, and we've seen that a few times from all the teams. Really, really well to make dot balls seem like there shouldn't be a one there, but they really push through. An early calling, good communication in the middle. It's about to continue. And Sathisan again. Yes. Drops this into the offside and they come through for the single.
There's one thing that we noted about Ketapal is he comes in obviously with his, from that odd angle, but he kind of, as a batsman, it skids onto you. You expect it to bounce and it kind of skids through quite low. I think Kieran Ferrari had a bit of an issue at the start against him.
It's a good shot from Abdul Shakur. And it's just going to be the one run.
But yeah, he's a very skiddy bowler. It kind of comes onto you quicker than you think and stays lower than what you think. I mean, you don't really see it from the screen, but when you do, when you're out in the middle, you feel it. Sometimes you want it to go back to and realise that actually that's staying quite low.
Again, it's an inside that I wouldn't be able to give. Obviously not being out in the middle. He cuts across there and Sathisan, he looks to go big and well. One bounce, 4 runs. It's a really good shot from Sathisan. And he looks to get on the attack now. Taking over from Taranjit Singh. As we just take a look at the replay here. It's not a terrible ball from Ketapal. Just really well dispatched from Sathisan.
They've got that fielder on the offside quite close in. So if he gets anything on it, it's quite a risk-free shot because there's no real cover behind him unless he really gets it wrong.
Can he have a reply? Cuts across. Oh.
He's taking a big step across to the offside there. Left his stumps really exposed.
Really, really well not to get bowled there. And it's going to be given a wide. And James Shooting is that just saying, also takes a rather long run up for going around the wicket too. Adds a couple paces just to get through the umpire and the stumps. And that's going to be another one. Down the leg side. That's a good take from Stan Ahuja. As you see it there. Oh, Ketapal was man of the match yesterday against Bulgaria. Bit of a rough start here for one of Hungary's main men. That's a good shot from Sathisan as he times that really well. It's a big chase on for the man, Valetta, and the ball's going to take him for a run there, and he's going to go all the way. It's a great shot from Sathisan. It's another boundary. It's 4 runs for Romania.
That's a fantastic shot. He's timed that to perfection. There's hardly any back lift in that. It's just timed perfectly.
And a bit of a full toss from Ketapal. And there wasn't much that anything else that Sathisan could do. It's really, really well timed through the leg side. Ketapal needs a reply to finish off his over. There's a bit of an appeal. I don't think I had anything there.
No, that was a lot better ball though. A lot better line, a lot better length.
Good comeback from Ketapal to finish his over. As we just take a look here, I don't think there was anything on that.
No.
It's a good take from the keeper. As at the end of the 7th, Romania, 70 for 1. They're going at 10s here. Romania, it's a good start. Again, building on the platform that was started from Taranjit Singh. There's a couple of drinks being brought on a bit before the drinks break.
Very hot day out there for the players. Not a cloud in the sky, really, is there?
It's been beautiful weather. Obviously, we had that little 20 minutes period of rain on the first day, but ever since then, been really enjoying it. It's 25 degrees and really enjoying it. Well, and there's Vinny Sander in the chat. Well, Vinny, hope you're doing okay. He's just saying he's lurking. His planes has Wi-Fi, so hopefully you can enjoy some really good cricket here. Obviously, there's a ECS going on up in Landskrona in Sweden, and obviously Rico and Rhino doing a wonderful job of bringing you the coverage up there. As we return to live action here, Mahandi had to continue. As that's just dropped into the leg side by Shakur, just for a single.
It's a solid start this from Romania. They're going at 10s for the loss of only 1 wicket. Hungary have really got to try and drag it back now. Do you think they're going to go to the slower options and get the slow bowlers on?
We've seen it so many times, haven't we, in most of the games, where just as soon as that power play finishes, the field spreads and just a bit of a dry up of boundaries, and they just rotate the strike, which is all you can do. That looks to be the legger. There's the leg spinner. He's read that. That's the Thisan, and he's middled that, and that's going to go all the way. That's 4 runs. It's a beautiful shot. As Mahandian looks to try and switch it up with the leg spinner. Doesn't quite get it right. It's a little bit too full as we take a look here on the replay. You can see it's the leg spinner. It's just too full, and it's a really well placed shot from Thisan. And he's really accelerating now.
Uses his wrist really well with that. Just kind of put the wrist through it.
Strong wrist from Thisan. Looks to go again as he's lofted that one. And there is a man there, so it should be cut off. And it's just going to be the one. Good cricket there. Rotation of the strike. It's his 4th boundary, that is. The 3rd boundary for Thisan. It's well played. And he gets sent back. As Thisan wasn't interested. I really hope you can enjoy your 11-hour flight up to Sweden. Don't enjoy it too much. A quicker one, darted in. That's well done by the keeper. We saw obviously Avinash Pai for yourselves. Really, really well disguised. Quicker one. Yeah. It must be a struggle to pick up.
Just a little, yeah. He does dart them in normally anyway, so his quicker ones, very, very difficult to pick.
Lofted up into the air.
This could be out. Oh, fantastic catch. Huge wicket.
It's really well done by the man out in the deep. And Mandian, that's his 2nd in his spell as Abdul Shakur has to go. Given the width there, given the license to go, he doesn't quite time it and picks out the man. And in the deep, and that's a really well held catch.
Calm and collected.
That brings us to the end of the over, and after 8, Romania, they find themselves 76 for the loss of 2.
That's a really well held catch on the boundary from the Hungarian team. I mean, catches in this format are huge. We've seen a few drops, but I think your teams which tend to feel better have got a lot better chance of winning games, haven't they? I think holding catches at this level is a massive, massive advantage.
And it goes back to that classic saying that you taught even at school. Catches win matches. And it's certainly true. As Ketapan's going to continue here. And he conceded 14 off his first over. 3 wides in there. So it's going to be interesting to see how the new batsman here goes about his business.
Well, Mandian's caused the damage, hasn't he? He's taken 2 really important wickets. Not gone for that many runs. 2 for 16 off his first 2.
Sivakuma Perialwa comes in at number 4.
It'd be good for Hungary now if this protractor could set this up with a really solid over. Put the pressure on Romania.
Absolutely. As he's into bowl now. And it's not the style he would have wanted. As it again, here's down the leg side.
He's just drifting it, isn't he? A few balls have drifted down that leg side. It's not too far wide of that leg stump. It's just a little bit. He's just drifting it just a little bit too far.
And that's going to be another wide. This time on the offside. And Perialwa, well, he was given the license to go. He gave it a big swing. Didn't quite get the connection. Ketapan just struggling ever so slightly here.
He overcompensated for that time, didn't he?
That's a nice shot from Perialwa to get off the mark. Should just be the single, as it's cut off by the man in the deep. Satyadeep Ashwathaniarayan. Good work from the man out in the deep. Just the one as it brings. Man, Ramesh Thisan, the skipper, back on strike. Short. And he doesn't quite time this. And they could be pushing 2 here. I think that's probably one of the only times that we've seen that there isn't one's push for 2. And as we come back to Charlie's wildlife, if you just look in front of us, it's a snake. Just going across the outfield.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Chased by the birds. You're going to miss that on the camera, but that is quite incredible.
There's Ketapal's back in here. Oh, there's a nick there. Oh, I thought there was a nick.
That's a lot better from Ketapal. Good line, good length.
Good line and length there as we look at the replay here.
Oh, that's not far away. He's bowled a beaut there.
That's a shorter delivery. It's going to be placed into the...
Well, this could be run out. This should be out. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic from the Hungarian side, but disarray with the Romanians.
So Thisan has to go. It's a mix-up between the two batsmen. Pedialwa, well, he's going to have to answer to his skipper at the end of this as he has to go. And that's a really big breakthrough for the Hungarians. And that means that Romania, well, they're now 80 for 3.
Oh, the non-strike. He was running whatever there, wasn't he? He was so far down the track. He just set off an absolute sprint. He got no chance of getting back for that one. He looks at his partner in astonishment. Silly run, really. Didn't really need to do that. It leaves them 3 down here, Romania.
Well, as we just go back to the wildlife, this snake's just going across. Not sure if man up in the tower can spot that one up there, and he gets a chance.
One of the fielders, he's going to be getting very close to one of the fielders soon.
Just slightly concerned as a new batsman comes in, and well, Ketapal building a pressure there. That's up-ish, and it's going to squirt through the covers. It should just be the one as Saini, the new batsman. Oh, yeah, there's going to be buzzers.
No.
Well, they do say if you don't do the basics, you're going to struggle. And there's a couple times in the last couple of games that Hungary have had a few buzzers. There's another example of it there. Just falling asleep here is Safi on the angle.
That was just sloppy. Unnecessary sloppiness.
Big drive from Pedialwa and doesn't get anything on it, and it's going to come through to the keeper. It's going to finish with a dot ball to end the over, and at the end of the 9th, Romania 82 for 3. And Michael H in the chat just saying Romania letting them back in. I think Hungary will struggle to chase anything above 150, so they need some more wickets. As we take a look here at the scorecard, well, again, 2 batsmen at the top getting starts. Rameshwar Thisan 20 off 18, and Tanjit Singh with 43 off just 25 deliveries. And again, it just leaves now to Vakima, Pedialwa and Saini. Big rebuilding job here as they find themselves 82 for 3.
Wickets are huge in T20, aren't they? They really break the flow of things up. Almost now you've got 2 new batsmen to the crease. One who's faced 5 balls, the other who's completely brand new. And they've got to try to go again. You've got to try and rebuild again. Start to get set. It's always nice to have a set batsman, I find, in T20.
No, absolutely. As we see, there's going to be a change of bowling here at the commentator's end. Varni Prasad coming on to bowl. And just whilst there's a break in play, the snake has safely made it across the entire outfield from one side to the other boundary.
Been herded by the birds. The birds have herded him from right in front of us, right to the other side of the field.
Well, just glad that the snake hasn't decided to go into the dugouts. It could have been an interesting bit of...
I wonder if the game has ever been postponed or stopped for a snake on the field.
I don't think I've ever heard of it. Prasad starts it, and it's just going to be a single for Saini. He gets off the mark straight away. Saini, we've seen really, really handy with the ball. Just coming in after that power play and just doing the job that's similar to the spinners as this. It's short and wide, and he's hit that really well. It's going to do well to come around and cut that off as he does. There's Deldad out there, and it's just going to be another single. And good arm from the man out in the deep. And once again, if you are in the YouTube chat, do let us know. Let us know where you're watching from. And we've got Mr. Joe Marples here the wicketkeeper for Gibraltar. Any questions? Did he get them in? And we'll be sure to get them across.
Do you think is the average score for this pitch? What would you, as a captain, say to your batsman? This is what we should be aiming for as a par score.
We'll get to that as we just see this delivery here. It's short and it's just going to be down into leg side. And it does really well. Sets off early. And it could be buzzers, but he does well. And it's just going to be the one. Well, at the start, right at the start of the week, in that first game, I think I said anything around the 130 mark, but I've very quickly been proven wrong. And I think since then, we've seen the par average score look at around the 160 mark. And I think anything above that's a plus. Apart from, obviously, Czech Republic this afternoon, going big. That's a really good bit of work. He's asking the question. He's not giving. He doesn't know where the umpire's gone, but the umpire's on the other side. I think that's just because the sun struggles to see when he's on the actual leg side. It's a good bit of work from the keeper. And a good bit of bowling from Bhavani Prasad.
Yeah, it's really well bowled. He's kept his back foot really well planted, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Stretched out. Missed it, but he was quite comfortable in himself that he was in his crease for that one.
And the umpire now just realising he's on the wrong side as he comes across. It's a good drive, and it should just be the one again. It's really good bowling. This just bowling to his field, and again, this is what we keep seeing. Match in and match out is these overs between the 6th and the 12th, where just a bit more rotating the strike. If a boundary comes, a boundary is obviously a plus. They just keep bonging them down, and then the pressure builds, and you keep working in partnership. As that's gone up, that's gone high. It's going to take some catching as it goes over his shoulder. Well, he does the hard work of getting there. Does Sandeep Mohandas. Well,
this could be out.
And the finger goes up, and it's all happening here. As well, there's a chance of a catch, and then there was a miscommunication in the middle, and the man has to go. Well, that looks like it's going to be Sinakuma Periyalwar that has to go.
Well, they got the reprieve from the drop catch. They took the run off it, and then just, number 17. Oh, he's been given the call and then been sent back. Oh, dear. Communication error. He looks at his partner in disbelief. He can't believe it.
He's well out there, isn't he? Not even in frame at the time. You just see here, there's a bit of yes, no, maybe, which we've seen plenty of. And it ends up with the disastrous and not even in frame.
It's really good from the keeper. That's bounced in front of him. So he's not taken that on the full. He's done well to claim that and actually take that wicket. And again, it's another wicket for Hungary here. They're taking wickets at important moments. Now 4 down after 10.
Again, I think this is credit to this tournament. 6 teams where there's a really good array of talent and skill, and some really, really tight games that we've seen already. Makes for great viewing. And I'll take this time, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, I hope you're doing okay. And if you're watching in the subcontinent in India on fan code, you're having a good evening. As that brings us to the end of the 10th over, and at the halfway stage, Romania, and that's Masu Saini on strike now. And I think we're going to be in for a cracker of a game as Ketapal continues. And again, moving on to the legs, and there's an early call of 2. I don't think that's going to happen, as that's Ijaz Hussain at the other end. He hasn't faced the ball yet.
I think there's an option here at this pitch in Malta with the very long straights, which are about 80 metres, to get a 2 in. If the field is really deep on the boundary and on the straights and doesn't really attack the ball, there is that option of, if you've got 2 very good runners in the wicket, to try and grab 2 runs.
We've seen it plenty of times. It's always timed, not to perfection, but to perfection in the sense of they can just drop and get a quick 2 in as Ketapal's back in again. And this one's wide of the crease and let go of by Ijaz Hussain. It's going to be a dot ball. And as Rico would say, balls are gold dust in T10. Well, there's still gold dust in T20. It's full up. And it's on the drive, and the fielder in the covers does really well there. Ali Fadasat.
Romania have just got to rotate the strike here, haven't they?
Yeah, really just need to, again, so let's also rebuild for a couple of overs and then try and go big in the last couple and make sure you got wickets in hand. As we say that, it's a big shot from Ijaz Hussain.
they've got guys quite tight in that infield, haven't they? They don't want to give them that single, the easy single.
Well, we've seen, as you're saying, he can really hit a long ball if he gets going. I want to keep him off strike. As it's a full toss, he gets a little bit unlucky as it goes right into the pitch. And again, runs off the pitch. Ends up being just a dot ball.
We have seen it a few times divot off the side of this pitch. Just taking an even bounce or fly off at an obscure angle. Bit unlucky there, I think, for the batsman. He hit that quite nicely and kind of just bobbled up off the side.
It's a really good delivery from Katapal. And he's really timed it up. He's on 20 off of his first 2 overs. And when he finishes, we're just having a little bit of an issue with the on-screen graphics. And at the end of the 11th, the score. Trying to work that one out. We'll let you know.
I don't think many runs came from that over, from my memory.
I don't think there was many coming off it. Maybe a couple of singles.
Very tight from Ketapal. After 2 overs, which have gone for quite a few, he reined that in very well there.
He was 20 off of his first 2. Yeah, just having a little bit of a connection issue on our end, so we're just going to try and fix that as soon as possible. Michael in the chat, so you can feel the pressure building. Well, we could be on for a really another tense game here. As Prasad continues. Oh, that's a really good delivery. As the batsmen all end up here, as we take another look. Just plays for the spin and doesn't get it. And Prasad, only just the 5 runs off his first over. Again, we're seeing it again. These spinners just snugging it down a little bit. And that's a bit of a full toss, and he's not going to miss out on that, is Saini, and that's going to go all the way. That's a huge hit from Saini. That's 6 runs for Romania. That's a rank full toss. As Prasad just missing out on his length.
He's very lucky as that's not been given as a no ball. I think it's just underneath the waistline, isn't it? I mean, it's that slightly bit higher, and he's also again going to end up getting a free hit the next ball. Just lost it, didn't it? Kind of, I don't know if it slipped out the hand a bit wrong.
Let's see if we can get a reply here. Right, good cricket as it's pushed down, and they're going to push for 2. He's in hand, a bit of a fumble. They could have gone, but ends up just being the one. It's good work by Satcha Deep out here. Long on. And there's scores back on your screen for you.
Just a little chat in the middle between the 2 Romanian batsmen. There's been a bit of a communication issue, isn't there, in a few of these runs at the start of their innings today. I think they're just saying to each other, just settle down. Look, let's get our calls right and let's not give any more wickets away here.
Let's do the basics right. If you do the basics right, then the rest will come. Halfway through his second over here. Here's Prasad. As that's played into the offside. And it's again, wow, direct hit, and he could be close.
He didn't slide his bat, did he?
The umpire says no, and they come back in for the second. And
It'd be interesting to see that one, actually.
well, you get the luxury of having another look here. And with the great work by the crew at Spring Productions. You get a really good look here.
Oh, he does slide his bat. Yeah. I think he was okay, wasn't he?
Looks okay for me there. And in the end, coming through for the second. Comfortably in there. Good bit of fielding there from the man there. Only one stump to aim at. It's short, and he's hit that well. It's going to be Wellingamagi down here, and he does well just to bring that one in. It's just going to be the one.
The slow bowlers have slowed up that run rate, haven't they? They've come from about 10 and over down. We're down at 8.31, 8.28 now, just updated. As you said before, just after that power play, the slow bowlers have in quite a lot of the games just slowed that run rate.
And it's a really common theme that we've seen throughout the last couple of days. This is there's a bit of an appeal, but he's going to miss another set of stumps if you put them on top of them, I think, as well.
Got a bit of an extra bounce on that, didn't it? Kind of came up.
Really bit of
hip height
lift there. As that brings us to the end of the 12th. Romania, 98 for 4. Yeah, and you're just saying that after the power play how it really does bog down. And, well, they lost those 3 runs. Obviously one coming from each over from the 8th, the 9th and the 10th. And just the 1 run coming from the 11th over. As we take a look here at the standings. And, well, there you go, Gibraltar. Not quite sad at bottom, but in 5th place. And got a good opportunity tomorrow against 6th place Bulgaria.
Yeah, look, we've faced Bulgaria before. We faced them last time here in the Valletta Cup from last year, and it was 1 win apiece. Obviously, we won the first game in the round robin. They beat us in the 3rd place playoff. So it's a bit of a rivalry going on there, and 2 fairly evenly matched teams probably this time round, and even last time round. It'll come down to the day. I think that's the game. I think as a Gibraltarian, we've got to try and target to get a win off, especially in this tour.
No, absolutely. And again, it's one of the wonders of European cricket is it doesn't matter how far apart in the standings you may be. Whoever's better on the day is going to come out with a victory. As we see Mohandas coming back into the attack, and that's going to be a wide down the leg side. And as we saw earlier on, Romania, obviously the highest ranked team in the tournament, losing out to Malta. It was a really, really close game. But it just goes to show whoever's better on the day is going to come off on top. And, well, looks like he's going to try and go for a single as he dabbed that into the leg side, but gets turned away sensibly by Saini at the other end. And Hussein, again, as we can see, just getting bogged down a little bit. Just the 3 off the 8 balls now. Comes forward and looks to go big, but really struggling here. And you almost think, shit, Saini just saying there, just calm down, take your time. I think bat on ball is what I'd be saying here. Just look to...
He's charged that down the wicket and then tried to play completely across the line.
Just trying to hit it too hard. Just needs a bit of time. Bat on ball. As again, that's really well bowled from Mohandas. It looks to be the slower ball there.
Looks a very agricultural kind of batsman, Hussein. He's currently on 3 off 9 or 10 balls here. Just needs to kind of maybe get bat on ball here. Get his partner, Saini, who looks in decent nick on strike.
That was going to be a dot ball. And he's saying, and you can see it now, Saini, just going to go and have a word. Say, look, I could just take a guess as to what was the conversation there. He's saying, look, we just need to just keep the scoreboard ticking. You don't want to let the scoreboard freeze. And it's stuck in that one position. So he's saying, just going to reevaluate the way he's approaching this. As he has a big hit. Well, I don't know if he's timed that well. I think he's taken. I think it's a really good grab by the man down in the deep. He's almost timed it too well. It's a big hit out there to the man at long off. That's
a stunning catch. He has taken that above his head. He's kind of coming a bit too far. Readjusted. Oh, he's taken that fantastically.
Yeah, that's the man there. I think that might be the skipper. Marco Uja down at long off does really, really well. Well, you have to say, Minjas Hussain was really struggling, wasn't he, against the bowling of Sandeep Mohandas.
Yeah, absolutely. And he knew he needed to get going, but instead of kind of just pushing a 1, getting his partner back on strike, he's tried to go for the long, big straight hit here. It's a really long straight hit. I mean, you really do have to time the ball very, very well and have some meat behind it to get it all the way. And it was fairly short in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah. Again, he timed it almost enough to the point where if you're sat on the boundary, it's a pretty comfortable catch. But Marco Uja would be proud of himself there. Leading by example is the skipper. As it brings in the new man. He won't be on strike, as that rule doesn't come in till October from the ICC.
I'd be very happy here if I was Hungary. 5 wickets down, still another 7 overs in the game. I think Hungary are well in this.
Absolutely, I think it's setting up to be a really, really interesting contest here. That's going to be pushed into the leg side. Should just be the single. It does really well on the angle there, the man. So here's Safi. And that's a good way to finish the over. And another wicket falls as at the end of the 13th, Romania. 100 for the loss of 5 wickets. And again, if you just look at the YouTube chat, you can see there's some regulars in there. Jack Murrell, well, you're a big Hungary fan. Let us know what you think what's going on here for Hungary. Michael H in there, Luke Belgium as always. And Riyasad, you've been really, really enjoying your inputs today. I really appreciate it. Obviously nice to have a guest with me for this afternoon. It's been a good couple of days on my own. Getting a little bit stir crazy here in the box. Really enjoying Joe's company here. It's going to be Mavani Prasad to continue here at the commentator's end. You just look at the projected score there, looking around the 154, just below par in my opinion. Again, just looking at that 160 mark. That's a good ball from Prasad. That one's just played back to him.
Yeah, I think anything below 150 here is a below par score for sure. I think you've got to be trying to at least aim for that 160, 170 region. Anything above that, like you said, is definitely a bonus.
He finds the leading edge, and it's just going to come through for the single. And as you see here, as we just go over to the match in Sweden, well, United, they've been bowled out for just 22 off of their 6 overs. That's that game all wrapped up there. So if there's any viewers coming over from there, do let us know. I hope Rico and Ryan have looked after you well, as we really are set for a close contest here between Romania and Hungary here in Malta. That's good cricket there. As he's timed that really well, he could turn and go for 2. Probably a good decision not to. It was in hand as they looked to turn and go.
That's the 100 up, isn't it now? 100 up for Romania. 101, 102 for 5, actually. It was up a few balls earlier.
So short. He just rocked this in. It should just be the one as the man comes charging in from the deep boundary. Sandeep Mohandas. The man's everywhere at the moment, is he, Sandeep? Not a lot the man can do wrong. Again, you can just see in these really important middle overs, just getting bogged down. And again, squirted into the next side for a single.
This is better from Romania. They're not eating up it with dot balls. At least they're trying to get that run off it, rotate it, and pushing that into that infield, and at least putting a bit of pressure on those fielders.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Prasad coming in again. So the 19 off his spell so far. Small ball into the offside. It's going to be a dot ball to finish his 3rd over. So at the end of the 14th, Romania just getting bogged down. They find themselves 104 for 5. Well, that's the 2nd consecutive over without a boundary now. And again, it's just the very, very repetitive sense of these middle overs struggling to get boundaries going.
You do get that sense of it is starting to get a bit bogged down. As a batsman, this then starts to put a bit extra pressure on you. You realise that your run rate's slowly starting to drop, and a silly shot will end up coming, trying to hit a boundary.
Well, that's what we said earlier, is a bit of bowling in partnerships. As we just take a look at the scorecard, you can just see a bit of a collapse after a good start from the men at the top of the order. But yeah, bowling in partnerships is really key, and we've seen that, as you know, especially where I think it was when Samath Bodda for Gibraltar took four wickets in his spell. It was just at the other end, Avinash Pai was just building the pressure there. There's the keeper standing up. That's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is that game against Hungary where Samath Bowler was just hitting his spot on and on and on, taking wicket pretty much every over that he bowled. And then at the other end, you have someone like Avinash Pai who just darts them in, doesn't give you a run.
That's back on the mark by Mohandas.
I think that's the hardest thing as a batsman. If you've got someone who's very, very difficult to get away, someone like Avinash Pai who's a very difficult bowler because he darts them in at you so quickly. It's very hard to actually buy a run off him at times. And then at the other end, you've got a bowler who's taking wickets. It really builds that pressure.
Again, good bit of keeping. He's decided to stand up to Mohandas. First time we've seen it by Stan Ahuja. He's a talented keeper. Been a good show of keepers throughout this tournament. That's just back of a length, and Mishra just plays us into the offside for a single. And Hungary, well, they'll be happy. They'll be saying it was really worth putting that extra yard in, just trying to get the early wickets of Taranjit Singh especially. And you can see them now really building the pressure here. And it should just be a dot ball at the moment. Looks like they're going to have one boundary since the 8th over. So that's nearly a long time for just the one boundary. Really dried up. That's Hussaini. Looks to go big, but it's going to be a wide ball.
You know, you talk at wickets in important times, but it's really important at times of the batsman who's in the wicket that you get. And you talk about Singh at the start there, who was just on fire. He was going like a rate of knots, and then that 40, what did he fall for in the end? 40 odd runs, and it was a huge wicket at that point. 43 off 25 balls, striking at 172. It's a massive wicket. Massive wicket.
Yeah, he really is a batsman that can really take the game away from anyone. Now that's short, and it's just going to hit out to the man, long on. They're looking at two, but I don't think they're going to. It's just going to be the single. It's a good bit of fielding from, I think that's Ketapal down there. Got the protractor out. It's a good arm.
I think Romania have got to look to Saini here to be the guy who gives it the impetus and try and get him on strike as often as possible.
Yeah,
I think he looks the more set of the two batsmen.
They've got to make a decision as to when they're going to go for it. They don't want to go too early with wickets. Not too many in hand, and that's just going to be clipped out. He's timed it well, and it just bounces in front of him. It's just going to be a single as it gets taken out into the offside. Well, there's definitely a few people coming across from Sweden. Hope you enjoyed your time over there with Rico and Rhino. I got myself, Charlie Hunt, here for ECN, and I'm joined by Gibraltar wicketkeeper Joe Marples. Thank you ever so much for coming on, Joe.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Enjoy my afternoon of a cricket-free day.
Cricket-free day while sat here talking about cricket. Could be worse. There's the sun still out as it gets to just around 4:45 local time. And at the end of the 15th, Romania just slowing down now, 109 for 5. Only going at just above 7 and over now. You're going to have to accelerate, and they have to choose when.
I think this is it now. You've got 5 overs to go. This is where they've got to really, at 109, you've got to start to try and push this on.
Yeah, it's a good shot into the offside, but it's just going to be a single. You just see there. Going at 10 and over now is just going to get you just under that 160, which, as we said earlier, is what I believe might be par. And I think anything under that, then I think Hungary will back themselves. I think if Deldar at the top of the order, if he comes off, it really is going to be a close contest.
Absolutely. I think, you know, Hungary have got some really good quality batters. Harsh Mandin as well. We've seen him bat.
As that one just run down to Ketapal, the man who we've seen obviously with the bat as well. If he keeps an eye and he can really get a long ball. I think that has to be said about most of these teams, is that everyone can hit a pretty long ball now. It's pretty standard in cricket, is if it comes off, it comes off. And there's a couple of batsmen in the Hungarian team that they're not going to give themselves much time, and if they do come off, then it really does make a difference. Prasad just plays in to the man. Again, that's Ali Falasat, who we've seen hit a monstrous 6 the other day, and right in the car park over the camera.
I think the Hungarian team will be the happier at this point in time. However, with 5 overs to go, this is where you've got to really switch on as a fielding team, because this is where you can let it slip.
That's short, and he's kicked off his legs, but again, good bowling to his field. It's just going to be the one. And Frankie in the chat just saying a lot depends on these two batsmen. We're not convinced by the depth of Romania's batting. You'd have to say are a little bit reliant on Taranji at the top of the order. If he doesn't come off, they just seem to panic a little bit. He comes out, he meets him, and he's hit that pretty well. It should just be the one. Well, it's 4 runs. He's timed that really well, and the fielder doesn't quite get round, and that's the first boundary in what feels like a very long time for Romania. He comes down, meets him. It's a really nice drive. And we said, didn't you, that Valetta Saini.
He should have got to that. He kind of just tripped over himself, kind of fell over the top of the ball. But, you know, when you need a little bit of luck, you need a bit of luck, and it came there for Romania.
Saini just accelerating now. Is it short? It's played into the man. Oh, it could be another mix-up here. And if he takes his time, well, it's all happening here. And Prasad couldn't just collect it. And Mishra at the other end. He's lucky to still be here as we take another look here. It's right at the fielder. There's never a single there. He's hit it too well. It wasn't really a great throw. Well, he's got unlucky, isn't he? It's just come off the edge of the pitch. And
yeah, it's one thing I've been saying to a lot of our guys is try and get into my hands as best as possible, because it takes a deflection off that concrete strip at the edge, it's horrendous. It could go anywhere.
Absolutely, is it? That brings us to the end of the 16th. Romania 116 for 5. As we look at the to bat, again we haven't really seen much of the Romanian tail order, and you see young Marian Garrison, the 15-year-old, fielded really well in first game against Malta.
He's got a hell of an arm on him.
Absolutely, we saw him down. Really good bit of fielding out in the jungle there. He stopped to 4 and then absolutely launched it in. Really promising for Romania to see a young prospect like that coming in on tours like this, getting him in and around the setup. As we see, there's going to be a change of bowling. It's going to be Welly Gamagi to return. Just going for the 22 runs off his first 3. No wickets. But again, he was obviously on when Taranjit Singh was going big. So you can take one with him here. And it's Mishra on strike. It's clipped up into the leg side, and it's just going to fall safe as they just come through for a single. Gamagi bowling well here. Well, that's a nice shot. It's a very classic T20 shot. That stab down to the man at third man. And they're going to come back for the 2. It could be close here. Wow, the throw from the skipper, Marko Ahuja, wasn't where it needed to be. And that's a really good bit of running there from the Romanian batsman.
I think that's what they need to do now. Look, if you're not going to hit boundaries, you've got to push these fields, especially on the straights. If someone hasn't attacking the ball, put the pressure on them. Put the pressure and try and get as many 2s as possible.
Gamagi, he's in again. Steps across and he flicks that across. Oh, that's going to run away, and I think that's going to go all the way 4 runs. That's a really nice shot from Saini, and you said, Joe, didn't you, that Saini needs to be the man. If they're going to get a defendable target, this is going to be the man to do it, and he's really taking it on now.
Yeah, it's a really nice shot, isn't it? I think Saini's a decent batsman. I think he can hear if he really takes the ball by the horns, he can push this Hungarian team and at least try and drag Romania up to 150 plus.
That's got to be the target now. I think if they go for 140 and then just build on from that, anything there is a plus at this point. That's just going to be a bit of an edge. It's going to run away. He's going to do well to cut this off as it's going to be close here. He gets the dive in. Well, he gets the dive in and it's not enough. Marko Ahuja's having a bit of a tough time down here. And we see that's consecutive boundaries for the first time in a very long time here. As he just couldn't see him winning that. Look, he gets there. Just can't quite get the ball back here as Mani Saini. He's moved very quickly on to 30 now, off of just 21 deliveries. Doing a good job here for Romania.
Massive over this, isn't it, for Romania? 3 boundaries off it so far. They needed it. They really did. And it just eases that pressure on them just that little bit.
Oh, and that's gone to the leg side again. And that's going to be, I think that might have gone all the way, and it is. It's a maximum for Vanusani. And, well, this is what we said. 1 over can change the game, and you just feel the pendulum might be swinging back towards Romania here. Saini goes big with a maximum for Romania.
Didn't quite get hold of that, did he? It felt like a bit like he got kind of top-edged it, but it's gone all the way, and it's in an area where there's no real fielder, so no danger when playing that shot. And again, there's another boundary off this over as Romania continues to push on.
And that's sensible cricket as he just dabs this down, rotates your strike at the end of the over. That's a huge over for Romania, and they find themselves at the end of the 17th, 134 for 5.
Just looking at that projected score now, we're looking at that 160 mark. You know how big a 1 over makes a big difference. We're looking at 140 and over before. Now we're looking at 160. Saini set 37 not out off 23 balls. I think Mishra's here has just got to play clever, get him on strike, take the 1, and try and use Saini as much as possible.
Well, absolutely, and as well, as we see there, 18 runs off that over. What was going from Welly Gamagi, really good spell. Ends up going for 40 off of his 4 overs. He'll be disappointed in himself there. There's a drink being brought out. Might be a bit of a message maybe coming from the coaching staff. As he runs out, well, he shares the water. That's good to see. I've said that over the last couple of days, that even though there's a real sense of competitiveness out on the field, as soon as you come off it, everyone's obviously there's chatting going on between the two teams. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been an event so far which has been held in really good spirit, and it's really nice to come on these events because you meet new people and you meet the guys, and it's a really nice thing to have, especially with the ECN here as well. It has that extra dimension to it. A lot of really familiar faces from former ECS events.
There's a Harsh Mandian's back into the attack, and he's just clipped this one into the infield, and they're going to look for two, and they're going to go, and it's going to be a really good bit of running as the throw is just a little bit wayward, but you could see there that Mishra, he was going to go early as he turned and went, and it's a really good bit of running.
Look, this is what Mishra's got to do. He's got to play that kind of role where I'm going to push hard, get Saini back onto strike, and that was really well run. He knew exactly where he was at that point, and never looked like getting run out.
As that one's just respected and defended back to him. It's a dot ball.
Oh,
he's got a bit of an issue with walking in front of the bowler. Bowler's arm. And we're set.
Oblivious, completely oblivious.
Completely oblivious. It's the wonder when you play cricket in Europe. Sometimes people just don't really know. It's always going to happen. You get it. You look at Test cricket. It always happens, doesn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. We get it, but even back in Gibraltar, you got to come to the side screen and go, "Do you just mind moving a few paces to your left, a few paces right?" And they kind of look at you slightly bemused. Not a clue. Not really. Don't really understand why you've asked them to move the position.
Good shot outside the off stump. That's a good shot. It does well there. The man at backwards point. And it's going to be the one.
Look, this is where Hungary now need to be a bit more sharp. They've got 2.5 overs. They've gone for a big over in the last one. Right, this is where you really need to tighten things up and push on and really keep things tight for not many overs.
And that's again just played to that man at point, and they're going to come through for a single again. And that's good for Mishra. As Saini, well, just quietly gone about his business here. On 40 at the moment, off of just 26 deliveries.
I mean, he was going at a strike rate of about 100, and then that one over's taken him well above that. He's on striking at just over 150 at the minute.
That's the leg spinner, and he's picked it. And it's going to come through for the single. We just have a little replay here. Yeah, just the leg spinner. Bit of drift there as well. And a bit of wind coming across, helping him out there as it brings Saini back on strike. There's a bit of an appeal there, and the umpire doesn't look very interested.
That's good hands from the keeper. That was darted in a lot quicker than the last couple.
I don't know if he took it cleanly. I think it might have popped out. Not too sure. Doesn't really matter. As it's a dot ball to end. And again, really good over from Mahandian as his 2 for 21 off of his 3 overs.
I think we might be seeing the return of the protractor here.
As Kesvar looks like he's going to be coming on. As we just see here, again, we can just see a really good example there. Those overs between the 6th and the 12th, just getting bogged down and just wickets constantly falling. Doesn't help the situation. And then you just see, again, from the 15th onwards, a bit of an acceleration. As Saini on strike, and as you can see, Romania 139 for 5 after 18. So we go down to the final 2 overs of the innings here. And as we say, 10 and over now, as they'll get them to just under that 160 mark.
Just looking, there seems to be quite a big gap at Cow.
Right, he tries to get inventive, and he might have picked him out. Well, and they end up coming through for the single. And I think the man here, Zaya Safi, just getting stuck in 2 minds, didn't know whether to go for the catch or just hold himself back and make sure that it doesn't go past, and there's no protection.
I think this is a missed opportunity. I think this is catchable.
Going to be a big wicket of Saini if he gets that. Well, again, you can just see not really looking confident at Steve Cook's in the chat. Well, Mishra decides to go big himself, and it could be a good catch. Oh, and he's dropped it, he's put it down, and it's a real shame. As Mishra, as they come through for the second, and he just looks like he just couldn't quite see it down there. I think that's Prasad down there. Just
It's come hard and flat at him. Oh, he's got his hands completely in the wrong position, hasn't he? Not got himself set.
right. Mishra moves to 10 off 13 deliveries. And that's going to be just the one. I think it's Saini back on strike.
Yeah, Saini's quite happy there just to run the one and get himself back on, isn't he, here?
Oh, well, they were looking at making a cheeky effort at two there, but I think they realised it had been a bit suicidal. There's a bit of a delay here. Really sure as to what for, but we're ready to go underway again. Saini on 42. Oh, well, he's lucky that it's not hit the helmet as it's gone past, and it's going to come down as buys. And it's just going to be the one buy. You see it, really lucky not to hit the helmet.
It's just dipped on the keeper, hasn't he, at that?
Yeah, it's just kept low. You just take a leaf out of your book and wear the helmet all the time, doesn't he? He's hit that really well, and the fielder's done well to deal with the spin there, as it just ends up being the one. And again, only 7 balls remaining now in this innings. And Saini, you really do feel that Romania are going to want Saini to face the majority of them. So he's probably just going to look for the single hit. Well, I say that, and he's nicked it, and it's going to be really tough to cut that off, and it's going to go all the way. It's 4 runs. Well, doesn't matter what they look like, as long as how it goes down in the scorebook. And Ketspel, he's going to feel a little bit hard done by there, isn't he?
Yeah, very. That's a really good ball. But if you're going to go hard. Get a fine nick off it, and it's flown past the keeper. No chance of a catch there. And 4 runs for Saini, who very close to getting that half century.
Well, as we see there, Romania now want the final over to go after 19, 149 for 5. And they'll be really happy with the way that they've recovered here after a good few. After being at 99 for 5. That's the 50 partnership up between these two.
This could be a very tight game. Well, we've seen quite a few, haven't we, already in this tournament?
Yeah, I've really been excited, and this is my first, obviously, bit of commentary for the ECN. It's been really, really nice to have some really tight finishes to cover, and I'm sure that viewers are really enjoying it on the YouTube chat. If you're in there, do say hello, as we're certainly in for a very tight game here. So, it's Mohanyan to bowl the last. Final over. The advances, and he's hit that well. There's a man down here, and he does well just to take that off the one bounce, and it's going to be the 2 runs. And I've already had 1 ball come into the commentary box today.
And this is it again. Those straight drives, anything straight, 2. Got to try and push those 2.
Mishra on strike.
They're running well, these 2, actually.
Yeah, I have to agree. He advances again. He almost yorks himself, and it's just going to be the single, I think. Allowing Saini on strike. So just 3 off the first 2 deliveries of this of the last over here. 152. Steps away, gives himself some room. It's short, and it's burst through the infield. It should just be 1.
Yeah. They've got the sweeper out there just for that shot. Takes it clear. Well, a bit. Ooh.
It's not done well there. There's Man Jansen, not let any buzzers go through.
Fired that in. Really hard. Very, very hard at this point. You don't want any overthrows.
And it brings Mishra back on strike. 15 off 17. He looks to go big. He hasn't quite caught. There's a man under it. Willie Gamagi. Oh, it's gone right through him. And it's going to end up being another 2 runs.
They come back 3.
That's really
Fantastic.
good running. Really good bit of running from the Romanian batsman there. And Mishra, well, he does his job there. In the end, getting Saini back on strike and not really bothered about the wicket, more the fact that it would have been a dot ball in the final over.
Look, it's very good running. And this is what pressure does, and pressure builds. If you push fielders, you know, you've got more chance of making a mistake. Or getting them to make a mistake, should I say.
So he goes big and he swears up. It's going to be a good catch. That's a good take from the skipper, Marco Uja. Well, Valletta has to go. But he'll be really happy with the way that he's gone about his business. He's got Romania out of a bit of a rut. And he's given themselves a total to bowl at.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic innings actually from Sony in a point of the game where actually Romania were really struggling. He's almost kind of pulled it back, especially that one over. I think there was 4 bounds, isn't it? He's done a really good job here. And if Romania go on to win, I think they'll be looking back to thank Sony for that knock in the middle.
Absolutely. As we saw there, 5th wicket falling at 99, and then really, really good partnership of over 50 between these two. And Sony falls with 1 ball remaining. Romania 156 for 6. So here we go. It's going to be on strike. Last ball. He looks to go big. Doesn't quite time it. There's a man there.
Yeah, they're going for 2 here. They should get 2 easily. They're going to look for 3.
Yeah,
oh, he's running. They're just running.
He's going to go there.
That's clever. You know, in that situation, you just got to try. And very unselfish. He will take one for the team in case if there was that chance of a 3rd.
Yeah, Raj Kumar getting a diamond duck there. Doesn't get to face the ball when he's run out. Well, we have to say, I think if you're a Romanian fan, you'll take that after what can only be said as a bit of a collapse in the mid-order as Taranjit Singh goes. We take a look at the highlights here. And as we see, Taranjit Singh is a serious power up at the top of the order. And yeah, just a couple of really good bits of fielding and some not so good bits of fielding throughout this innings. And again, Taranjit Singh at the top, proving really, really vital. And as we see, this was the one to remove him. Neat Mohandas out in the deep. And after this, Ramesh Desan tried to get going, but couldn't quite do the job. And we saw there was a couple run-outs for Romania. And as we see here, good bit of work here. And again, just a lot of miscommunication as they go through these overs. And once again, look at this, just really poor bit of running. And we've gone there. But again, really, really good from Lazu Saini in the middle. And good take this from the keeper. And you can just see he's just not even in frame there. Again, really good work out in the field from Hungary. They'll be backing themselves to chase this. 159 the total. As again, really good bit of fielding. We're going to take a bit of a break here, but Joe, thank you ever so much for joining me for this first half. We're going to get you back for the second half of this game.
Fantastic. Got the game on our hands.
Really tense finish. Looking up here. Well, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to be on for a real tight finish here in Malta, and we're going to be back with you in just a few minutes as you're watching the Valletta Cup on the European Cricket Network. The bat towards the end of the Romanian innings. He's going to be opening up. It's that man again, Delled up. Well, we know where he's really strong. He gets that front leg out of the way.
You're a wicketkeeper, aren't you, by trade?
I am, yes.
What do you take here to Romania's wicketkeeper's starting position?
It's very low centre of gravity. As we start off, and Delled up with a really conventional, just blocks it into the offside. And the thing is, the way I've seen it is, you really do have to sort of do what you feel comfortable. And I think if it's proven well, and you just you have to go with it. Obviously, there are certain things that are sort of taught. Obviously, keep low, rise with the ball. As Mishra's in again. Well, there's a snatch there. Well, there's a snick on that, and the young man, the 15-year-old, he's big chase. Is he going to get that? Well, he does really well. Good bit of foot feeling. Well, I'm not too sure if his foot was over the line as he collected that. I don't know if they're going to look at it.
It's a fantastic piece of fielding. It looks like he's never going to get... Oh, that's brilliant. That's really well fielded.
That's really
Decided to go with the foot, not the hand.
I've seen that quite a lot throughout this last couple of days.
Big thick edge, wasn't it, that?
Yeah, we were talking about, obviously, the wicketkeeper being really low down. Maybe, if there was more of a conventional setup, might have been able to just get a hand on that. But it's a good start for Hungary. 3 off the first 2 deliveries. There's Marco Uja, the skipper, opening up here with Kaiba Deldar. And you have to feel that they're going to back themselves here. They can get going early in the power play, really make the most of the restrictions here. It's just a question in the chat. Have we seen commentators on screen? No Comcam this week. I wouldn't say that's too much of a miss. Not missing out on much. Let's have a reply here. It's just is down the leg side. It's going to be 1 run, as that's Cosmin's Void doing the fielding.
I'm not sure about yourself, but faces for radio, definitely me.
100% got a really, really good face for radio. That's why I'm behind the camera, not on the field. It's Mishra. Deldar, well, it wasn't going to take long until that front leg was going to get out of the way, and he's going to swipe that across. It's going to be 4 runs into the Hungarian dugout.
You really don't want to feed his leg side. He's such a leg side dominant player, and that was so wristy, and it's flown off the bat.
It's 4 runs. First boundary in the reply from Hungary.
I mean, we were saying in the break, weren't we, that I think Deldar could be huge here for Hungary. If he comes off, and like he did the other day, he could really set up a kind of almost a platform for this innings for Hungary.
And a good reply from Mishra as he just brings this one back of a length. Deldar just sees this one off. Yeah, I definitely agree that Deldar is really going to be key to Hungary if they're going to get close to this target. And they're going to have to be going at just under 8 and over, 7.87 to be exact. They're really going to be relying on Zaya Safi as well, and Stana Uja, who we've seen, and of course Harsh Mandian with some expansive shots. Oh, he's done him all ends up there. Didn't really have much of a clearance. A really good end to the over for Mishra, as at the end of the first, Hungary, they're 8 for none.
I think that was a really good over actually from Mishra. Obviously the boundary, that's a lovely ball. It's absolutely cut him in half. Decent action, decent lime. Yeah, no, I really do like the look of Mishra as a bowler.
He did a job for his team with the bat, contributing towards the end. There's Hungary. And they were almost bang on the run rate to start with. And the target being at just under, as we said, that part, 159, just under that 160 mark. As we're going to have Rajkumar for Romania. And I'm sure it won't be long until we see that man again, Taranjeet Singh with the ball, obviously. And a really good start with the bat. She couldn't push on, could he?
Be interesting to see people's opinions. Obviously, some teams were more obvious than others, but it does seem to be that talismanic kind of to a lot of the European teams. There's almost a talisman for each side. Obviously, Singh for Romania is quite clearly their talisman. I'd say Avinash Pai for ourselves. Be interesting to see what the people in the chat think. Who are the talisman for each of these nations?
There's just a bit of a delay here. As Mark Uja's only just faced the one delivery as he's getting ready to face Rajkumar. It's just back of a length. It's really well fielded in the gully region, and he definitely stops what would have been at least a single, maybe a 2. That's really good bit of fielding there.
Yeah, it got down well, quite low. Took it cleanly in that one hand. This is what Romania will need to do. You've got defending a total like this, they're going to have to be really sharp in the field. It's been a good start from them, actually.
And it's short, and it's going to be given a wide as Markuja swings round, tries to get this to the vacant deep square leg, and just struggling. It's a bit of a wide delivery.
Yeah, nearly kind of swung himself into the ground with that one. Big swing and a miss. I think as a more conventional batter myself, I'd have been looking to cut that. The cut is obviously more of my shot, but it did seem quite wide.
Oh, there you go. He's listening to you, Joe. Is that one's digging in short outside the off stump, and that's going to be another boundary for Hungary. Marko Uja. That's his first boundary here in the reply.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. If he's bowling it, he's kind of pushing it out to that offside and pushing it wide, instead of trying to pull it, try and use that cut shot. You know, there's no field down there, and he hit that quite cleanly, and it's a really good shot to take the score up here to 13 for no wicket.
A bit of lift there from Raj Kumar, and that'll be promising for him.
That's flown off the pitch. I mean, keeper's taken that head height. It's a very quick and bouncy wicket, this one here in Malta.
And that's just been put in, and that's that man there, Taranjeet Singh, at point. Cuts it off and keeps it to a dot ball. And just looking at Hungary's past results, obviously that victory against Bulgaria, where they scored 158. So they know themselves that they've got it in them to reach this total. It's just going to be a matter of approaching it the right way, not losing wickets at key experience. And that's going to be a good shot. They're going to push through. It's going to be tight here if he hits. Oh, he wasn't far away.
Cat's whisker. Cat's whisker. That's. It'd be interesting to see if he was in his crease, because that's only just missed the stump.
In the end, it's got a bit of running. Yeah, he looks like he was just in.
It's good from Romania, though. Sharp. Not afraid to have a go.
That one's gone high, and it's the young man underneath it. Oh, no, and he's dropped it. Oh, the young man. And he's going to be absolutely distraught with himself. We've seen him be really, really promising in the field over the last couple of days, and he would have backed himself there, the 15-year-old. And a Garrison, but just wasn't meant to be.
Oh, he's got himself in a really nice position there. He looks set. He looked quite comfortable. I don't know if he just snatched it a bit, closed his hands a bit too quickly, and bounces out.
Might have been a bit of spin on it as it comes to the edges. That brings a close to the second over. And Hungary, well, they're 15 for none after 2.
It's great to see a youngster playing at this level, though, and this standard. It'll be a good learning experience for him.
No, absolutely, and we've got some really good talent on, young talent on show here. Obviously, Garrison here for Romania, obviously Louis Bruce, and Smarth Border for Gibraltar, and the Fontaine as well. It really is good to see that the youngsters are coming through, and it's just another example of growth in cricket in Europe as Mishra's carries on. And Dell, though, he hits that well. There is a man out there. Taranjeet Singh comes around, picks that up well, and it just does really well to keep that to the 1. And again, good to see all of our viewers in the YouTube chat to get your thoughts in. Any questions? Obviously, we've got Joe here from Gibraltar. Get his questions in for you. That's okay. He just pushes that to the man at mid-off. There's been loads of comments over the last couple of days saying, I can't believe that I'm doing the comms on my own. So it's really nice to have a bit of company here in the comms box. It's a little bit lonely sometimes over here, but it's always good to have the live chat with me. Wow, there's a Delta that we've seen plenty of times. He gets that front leg out of the way. Big swing trying to pierce it through the covers. Doesn't quite come off.
It's very Dhoni-esque with that kind of shot. Kind of like the chop, almost a chop, isn't it?
A bit of a helicopter-esque to it as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Very flamboyant.
He gets it one this time, and as he holds the pose, that's going to trickle away over the boundary. That's going to be 4 runs for Delda, and that's his second boundary already as he swiftly moves to 13 off of just 9 deliveries. It's a really, really nice shot there.
I mean, he's got that ability, hasn't he? And he's punctured that straight over the top of that infield, which is quite tight. No risk if he catches that well, and it raced away to the boundary. I wonder if that's his first offside boundary of this tournament. It does seem very leg side dominant, doesn't he?
We've seen him carve a few over the top on the offside, but that's the first drive that we've really seen. He goes again into the leg side, and there's a man out there, and it's just Taranjeet Singh out there doing the work. They're going to look to go for 2. I don't think they're going to take it on. Taranjeet Singh, really, really good out there in the deep. It brings the skipper. Uja back on strike.
I think this is a solid start from Hungary. Romania have bowled fairly decently, been quite sharp in the field. I think they'll be pleasantly happy with the way this started.
That's going to be a wide down the leg side. And that run rate just getting up to about 8 and over now.
This is where Hungary have to be clever, isn't it? Like, they're not chasing a massive total. Wickets in their innings could also be just as vital and just as huge as it was in the Romanian one.
Absolutely. They're really going to have to work on the communication, obviously. I want to see as many run-outs. As he drives that through the middle, and the fielder does really well, gets down there. As that's Hedi Alwa doing the work in the covers. And it's just going to be the one run, as that brings again close of the third over. Bulgaria, they find themselves at 24 for no loss after 3. And with the 3 boundaries coming off the last 3 overs. Elda with 2 of them. And Auja just sitting comfortably on 8 runs from just the 8 balls. A really tight contest here. And I'm sure we're going to see some excellent cricket in the next 17 overs.
I wonder what the score predictor would be saying for this one. It's very early doors. Well, very well bowled that, isn't it, from Kumar? A flash and a drive and nothing doing.
Big swing from Mark Auja, getting a little bit impatient.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. I think as this game goes on, I think we're going to find that the score predictor sways to and fro. We're in for a very tight finish for this one, I reckon.
Could go down to the last. We've seen it so many times. So had a bit of batting from Mark Auja, just respecting the straight one.
It's very good bowling, this, isn't it, from Kumar? Currently bowling really well. Really nice line, length. Yeah, Auja's just getting a bit frustrated, a bit bogged down.
He's timed that well, and it's just going to be deflected to the man at mid-off as they come through for a single. It's really good bit of bowling this from Raj Kumar, as you said, Joe. It's really tight. It's just
body's on the line from Romania as well. That was hit really hard. Yeah, body on line. Only 1 run from it.
Yeah, it's good from Aftab Kayani in the covers, doing a good job there. Well,
oh, fantastic.
There we go. We knew that Deldar was going to take that step away and look to go clear the leg side. And he just misses this one. And you have to say that feels like it's going to be a key wicket for Romania, as we just see here. Not really a lot of hint of swing, and it just clips that leg stump. And as Deldar goes, that means Romania, well, they find themselves now at 25 for 1.
Yep, big wicket that for Romania. Deldar had that ability to kind of push on, strike with a really high strike rate, and he was looking to really launch that, wasn't he? He was looking to launch that into the archery courses, I think. Didn't get really anywhere near it, and it clatters into his leg stump.
He brings in the man now, and it's Zahir Safi, who we know he's not going to hang around. He's going to go from ball 1, and he's in at number 3, just for that. Again, he's another one of these batsmen, quite similar to Deldar, where he's going to go straight away, and if it comes off, it really, really does look good, but he's just really running that risk of another cheap wicket falling if he goes too big too soon. It's really, really nice to see the sun just starting to slowly set. It's 25 to 6 now, local time. And again, no complaints about the weather. 25 degrees pretty much all day since about 9:30 this morning.
Absolutely. I think this is, to be honest, we've played 1 game. I think it was against Hungary in that first day at this time. I think, having played it all the different times, I think this is my favourite time of playing, as the sun's starting to just slowly settle down.
There could be a lot of pressure on for the new bat. Oh, here's Safi. Happens to be right there. His first ball tries to smack this into the leg side, but doesn't quite come off, does it?
No, and this is the thing with the way that Kumar's bowling. It's going to be very, very difficult to play that shot. He's bowling decent line, decent length, at quite a nice pace. And they're just trying to swing too hard at these shots here.
It's Phillip. It's over the infield. He's timed that really well. Looks like it's going to go all the way, and it does. That's 4 runs. Well, there's one of your teammates from Gibraltar. That's a really, really good shot from Zahir Safi. And it's a lovely way to end the over there.
Yeah, it's a lovely shot. I mean, he tried to swing the first one out the park against that leg side. Really wasn't on. He's just thought a bit clever, bit clever with that second shot, and he's played a really nice shot, hasn't he? Through the covers, slightly wide of kind of that mid-off region.
And he ends the over with a 4, and that means Hungary 29 for 1 after 4. Doing really, really well. It's a good start here, and again, I keep saying it, but we do feel like they're sending this up to be a real nail biter. And we're looking forward to bringing you the coverage. As it's going to be working on again, Mishra for a 3rd over. Uja looks to go big. I don't know if he's timed this quite enough. And the fielder there is going to chase it back, and it's just going to be 2 runs. Looking to go big, making the most of the power play with just 2 overs left. Ends up just sort of clothing this over the top. Bit of a slower ball as the fingers were just dragged down the side of it from Mishra. Marco Uja, the set batsman. He needs to convert this now, this start. Again, it's a much better shot. Times it well. Plays it late under his nose. It's just going to be the 1 run to the man at mid-off.
I think Romania will be quite pleasantly happy as well with this power play so far. I mean, Hungary only 32 for 1 here, off 4.2 overs. I think Romania will be quite happy with their start as well. Another wicket here to end the power play could be vital for them.
And once again, here's Safi trying to go big, but it's too wide from Mishra. And the umpire gives it a wide call. Doesn't have to bowl that one again. Raj Gill just in the chat saying it's hard to score runs after the power play, and it's so true. We saw it in the last innings. We've seen it in so many games already here in the Valletta Cup. Just after that power play getting bogged down by the spinners. A real common theme.
Yeah, I think taking away obviously the Czech performance earlier, I think the majority of power plays have gone for roughly about 9 to 10 and over, haven't they? That run rate, and then all of a sudden we've seen that dramatic drop off in pace before teams have kind of pushed on again at the end. I think the slow bowlers have really had a massive impact on this tournament so far.
As he gets a little bit of bat on that, well, I think it's going to be a bump ball. Not really much of an appeal from anyone. And it is just going to be a bump ball. So it's a dot ball. A bit wide of the crease there. It's good stuff from the man at point. Radkumar doing a good job there. And you just let this one go. Asking the question, umpire doesn't raise those arms. It's a dot ball for Mishra. And you have to say, dot balls are going to be really crucial here for Romania. They're going to defend this total.
I wonder if that score earlier from Czech Republic is it's going to be up there with the highest totals for T20 International.
Yeah, as that's going through for another dot ball, we were having that discussion, and there was a lot of chat going on in the YouTube chat. So the Czech Republic, they're tied essentially. I think it's 278. But Afghanistan have got the same total, but just for a wicket less. So they have the title, and I think that opening partnership ended up just falling short of Australia's between Finch and Short, as this one's in. And Sevi goes, that's gone absolutely right high, and it's going to have snow on it. It's a good it's really,
ouch,
really.
That's going to landed right on his legs. It could be a run out. Oh, it's gone right through. There could be overthrows. They're not paying attention here. No, they didn't fancy any of a second run there, but that went really, really high.
Had snow on it as it came back down, and it was going to be a really tough catch, and it's just burst through his hands, and And that's the thing. If you swing hard enough, it's going to go high, or it's going to go long. This time just went high. So we finished the over there, and 2 runs off it, leading into the last over. So after 5 overs, Hungary 36 for 1.
Yeah, going back and what we were saying, obviously we saw a real show of power hitting this morning from obviously the Czech team. We have got some power hitters in this cup, and that one there went really high, not very long. But who's impressed you the most in terms of power hitting?
I think the opener that we saw, obviously, the VZ for the Czech Republic, he's been really good. Obviously, just shy of 100 yesterday and getting that 100 today, as can't to continue here. Bit of an appeal from Raj Kumar. It's not going to be even there. It's not being a dot, but no. The VZ's gone really, really well. I think Basil George for Malta is having a really, really good tournament. He's consecutive scores of 30 plus in all 4 innings, and 2 50s in there as well. He's really, really key for Malta's success. As that's just going to be pushed into the leg side. It should just be the single. A bit of foot fielding there.
Conventional.
By Guysssss Hussain. But yeah, there's real talent. Obviously, Avinash Pipe for yourselves. He's obviously a really good batsman. It's obviously good to see. There's such an array of talent throughout all 6 teams here this week. And Ishanta Silva as well, getting another 50 for Bulgaria. As that one's just fended back by Zahir Safi. And there's been a few questions about Louis Bruce, obviously just struggling a little bit this tournament with the bat. Obviously so young. What's been sort of the feel in the camp with Louis Bruce at the moment?
Positive. Look, it's quite easy for me to sit here and say, oh, it's very, very positive. Lou's a really confident chap. His mentality's second to none. That's a really big shot. Wow. That's going to go all the way.
It just goes over, and it's going to be 6 runs from Zahir Safi. And if you're going to bowl it in the block hole, in the slot, he's not going to miss out. As we have a look here, it's right in the slot, and he's not going to miss out. He's going to punish you there, and that goes all the way. That's 6 runs for Hungary.
Yeah, great shot. Just didn't quite get the length right, did he there, Kumar, which he's done so well so far. Just going back to Louis Bruce. Look, I've known a lot of young cricketers in my time, back from when I was a young cricketer myself. His mentality is something different. He's such a confident chap. Doesn't really seem to let things faze him. And look, he's going through a rough moment. He had a brilliant year last year. He'll come back strong.
That's going to be down the leg side now. Raj Kumar just struggling a little bit here. Gets pumped for a massive 6 back over his head and just swaying a little bit down the leg side. See what he's made of here if he can make a comeback here. But Louis Bruce, as we say, we've seen him make plenty of runs over the last year. Obviously with the Jib series earlier on this year, and in the ECL as well. He's a really talented young man. As it's shorter, that's a good comeback from Raj Kumar.
Great comeback. I think this you'll know as a batsman. You go through these moments as a batsman where you're feeling great, Nick. Everything goes for you, and then you'll go through times where you just can't buy a run. And I think Louis will have this throughout his career. He's a very talented young lad, probably one of the most talented I've seen at his age, and he'll come back strong from this.
As again, that's in the block hole. That's even bigger. That's going to go all the way once again. That's 6 runs for Zahir Safi. And Raj Kumar just missing out on the length again. Bit of a slower delivery. And it's in the slot once again. Zahir Safi is not going to miss out on those. That's a huge maximum for Hungary here.
Fantastic end to the power play. They needed that. I mean, as the power play finishes, just pushed on there with 2 really big 6s that over.
As he said, the end of the power play. So at the end of 6 overs, Hungary, they find themselves 50 for 1. And that run rate just coming down ever so slightly. So, yeah, first 3 batsmen here doing a really good job, as we see here in comparison. After the power play. And they just had a couple big overs, didn't they, Romania? And that 5th over, only going for 2 runs, is a really, really, really good over in the power play. As we know, it's all easy going big in the power play. It's what you do afterwards. And these two just need to keep doing what they're doing. They get the bad ball. They've got to punish it. As we see, the young man Garrison, he's getting put out to the long boundary. And we've seen him with an absolute bullet of an arm, the young 15-year-old. As Marco just lets the wide one go, and it's called wide by the umpire at the far end. This is going to be a really, really big few overs now, from 6 to 12.
Interesting decision here to bowl Mishra again. Had a decent start, but would you have saved him for a few at the end, maybe?
Well, I think they need to take a wicket here, and obviously Mishra unable to do so in his first 3. I haven't really seen him do much. And he hasn't really troubled him yet. Only gone for 25 off his first 3 overs, though.
Yeah.
As that's just dropped into the leg side by Ahuja.
Quite a lot of teams, from what I've noticed so far, have tended to save their opener for a few. Not many have bowled their openers out 4 in a row. It's an interesting tactic to discuss for that T20 format, isn't it?
Well, I think what we saw earlier today, Malta, the openers will get their first 2 out of the way, and they'll come back either at the death, which Wasi Babas does really well, and Bilal Mohammed coming in the middle overs doing a really good job again.
What a talent he is.
As this one is just pulled into the leg side. It should just be a 1. They don't seem like they're going to be challenging the arm of Taranjit Singh. We're yet to see with the ball, but I'm sure they will do at some point. There's a bit of an appeal. Taranjit Singh just showing how much of a good cricketer he is.
That's a great throw from Singh. He's thrown that and then turned his back on it, and he's walked back to his mark. No idea. Not interested.
I'm a bit confused as to why there were people appealing. I think he's worked it out by now.
Very, very good cricketer, Taranjit Singh.
There's a lot of hype around his name, and it gets people really excited in the chat. And Taranjit Singh, he likes to get in the chat as well when he's not playing. One of the fan favourites for sure. So Mishra can he grab a wicket to finish his spell. As that's a bit of an inside edge, and it should just run away for 1 as it's picked up.
It's a top spell, this from Mishra.
He's doing the job, isn't he? He's keeping the run rate down in the power play. He's done just the 27, 28 now, with 2 balls remaining in his spell.
Like I said, it'd just be interesting to see if maybe would you have held him back for 1 at the end with his ability to bowl this tight.
Well, so here's Safi once again going for the big shot. Doesn't connect with this one as he's still on 18 off of now 11 deliveries. Well, Hungary going along well here. That's a slower ball, and he's just picked it, but doesn't get it well enough. And it's just going to square it onto the leg side as it's picked up by Afghan Kayani in the deep, and it's going to be 1 run to finish the over. So overall, pretty good spell from Mishra as he finishes with 29 runs coming off of his 4 overs, no wicket, and you feel like he might have deserved a wicket there.
Yeah, it was a very good spell from Mishra.
So we finished the 7th, Hungary, 55 for 1, as we get a really good view of the sports complex here in Malta. And it's a really good place to play cricket. Rare that you find little hidden gems on Mediterranean islands like this, and it's just to prove cricket really is on the up in Europe. It's really good to see all the players of talent here in Malta.
Absolutely, I think this is probably one of my favourite grounds that I've played on the European circuit. It's really nice outfield, really nice actual location as well. I can't think of many better than this. This is a beautiful place to play cricket.
Absolutely. As we see, the man who did the job with the bat, Masood Saini, well, we saw him earlier in this tournament. Really economical bowler. Does a really good job again in these middle overs, similar to what the spinners do, of just keeping these batsmen, clogging them down and just not really giving too much away. He's got to do the same again here. Romania are going to defend this total. Starts short, and there is a man out there.
Yeah, they've packed that leg side field, haven't they? They've got 3 men out there. They've got a sweeper on the boundary. They've got a cow corner, and they've got that long on. Obviously, going to try and feed that, aren't they? Try and get a catch out there in that deep. Oh, it's interesting to see here. They've brought them actually in now.
Obviously, clearly think that Mark Ahuja is not the man they need to be worried about at the moment, as he's sat on 15 off of 18 deliveries.
Yeah, so cow corners come in as the sweeper. Long on stays out. They're going to try and squeeze here.
Well, there's a false start. There's a bit of chat by Taranjit Singh, I think, as the bowler's coming in.
I think this is he's sending cow out. Poor old cow corner has been running in and out, doesn't know where he is.
Well, as long as there's no snakes still over there. He steps away, Marco Uja, and he just loses his shape. Doesn't keep a solid base and almost loses balance, and he ends up just being a dot ball. It's a really good start, this, for Saini.
Yeah, I think it's quite clever having the field in. He's not really hit his mark yet. He's struggling a little bit. We're just going to try and squeeze him, keep him on strike.
This is just back of a length. It should be put into the leg side. And the one thing I will say is you've seen a couple of shots just sort of being put into the leg side, and there's not really pushing that first run hard, which we've seen loads of teams do really well this week. And it just changes the game when you can just turn those ones into twos. It just really keeps that run rate up. As they're falling now at 57 for 1.
So Romania just starting to control this a little bit here. And we're going to need to kind of start to push on a little bit, get that run rate back up.
As that's a slower ball, he's dragged his fingers down, but it's well fielded out there by Injas Hussain. Does a good job out there and just keeps it to 1, but as you see there, just caught ball watching a little bit there. Doesn't really push it for the single, but he almost hit it probably too well, you'd argue.
I think it's good work, good captaincy. They've got the fielders in their right positions. That's a really well hit shot, only for 1 run.
And Marco Uja really struggling when it's just put in that corridor outside the off stump.
Look, yeah, Hungary have still got batting to come. Obviously, Harsh Mandia, very, very good batsman. Good at manoeuvring his field a little bit. I just wonder if Saf is just telling him here, look, get back on ball. Just start to rotate a little.
Well,
Don't need to go for the big shot.
22 off 15 is Safi, so he's really tried to put this into the golf range on the left-hand side there, but with no luck there as we end the over. Well, it's a really, as I said, really economical bowler is Saini, and just the 3 coming off his first over as we finish the 8th. Hungary 58 for 1.
Romania just starting to take a little bit of control on them. And this is where Hungary now have got a, I think the man coming on with drinks. I'd presume that he's been coming across with a little message from the dugout. I don't know about what you think, but he'll just be telling the batsman here, come on. Let's try and rotate the strike, get Saini on strike as much as possible. And we've just got plenty of batters left in the tent. The last thing we need at this point is get bogged down.
No, absolutely. And as you see here, Deldar not really contributing as much as he would have liked with just the 14 off 11 balls. Marco Uja is really struggling to rotate the strike, stuck on 16 off of just those 22 deliveries. Nice Safi, when he's been taking the attack, isn't he? As we're about to see, Romania's main man, Taranjit Singh, coming into the attack.
His 4 overs could be make or break, couldn't it, in this game?
Coming on in a really key time here, as Safi's just looking a little bit set, and I'm almost certain that Safi's going to try and look to take him on into that deep mid-wicket cow corner region. Well, it's short. He doesn't quite get all of this. And it's just going to be 1 run. It's again not running those first ones hard, looking to push this 1s into 2s. And in a game like this, with the total you're attacking, is those 1s can really be vital. Short again, but he keeps low, and he does really well to get a bit of bound on this. And this could run away for 4, and it does. It's really good batting from the man there, as Marco Uja looks to get a bit of a move on. And well, does really well to watch this one as it keeps low, just back of a length from Taranjit Singh, just missing it.
Much needed boundary there from him, and that'll do him a world of confidence, world of good.
See if he can have a reply here, Taranjeet. It's short again, and he goes for it again. There's a man out there. It's just going to take one bounce. And just the one run.
There's nothing better than when you're starting to feel bogged down and you manage to get yourself a boundary. Just kind of feel that weight of the world lift off your shoulders. I'm sure Marco will be feeling that out there right now.
Oh, you could tell that Zafi was going to try and take him on. He doesn't quite connect with this one. It's bottom edge. And that boundary, well, that was Marco Huja's second boundary of the innings. It looks to go big, and he doesn't quite time this. And again, realistically, they should be looking to turn this into 2. If they run that first one hard, gives them the opportunity, but without running it hard, there's not even going to be any single chance of getting that second one in. Taranjeet Singh doing a pretty good job here. Just the one boundary so far. Mark Huja looks to go, and well, he had to make that decision, didn't he? Because he had to really try and accelerate here. He's getting a little bit bogged down, and he goes for the big shot. It's good work from the keeper, and he's gone. It's really good work. Taranjeet Singh doesn't get put off by the fact he's been hit for a boundary. Just sticks to his line and length, and he knows, almost sees him coming, just pushes it wide. It's really good work from the keeper, and a good call from umpire Shub. That square leg. And well, the next batsman, he's in already. He's keen. Wants to do a job for his country here. And the new man, Stan Ahuja, coming in for Hungary. As it looks like, might be taking a bit of an early drinks break, which gives me a good opportunity to just take a bit of time just to thank all the crew that are here this week. As we've got Maxi and Samir in the tent doing the job on the scoring, and Maxi, project manager, myself, Charlie Hunt here on commentary. And then also thanking all the officials for their hard work. Without the umpires, we don't get any cricket. So it does have to say that they really are a vital part of the week here. And obviously, Spring Productions, the crew there, doing all the work, bringing you these amazing slow-mo replays and really good camera angles. Elvira Carrills and Martins doing an incredible job for us, as we see plenty of really good instant replays and quality work from them. As we end the 9th in Hungary, after that wicket, 65 for 2. As drinks breaks, just comes an over early. And you really do feel that here's Safi is a really key man here if they're going to get close to this target of 159 for Hungary. As a here, Safi, obviously we've seen play for the Royal Tigers out in Hungary. And we know that he's capable of hitting big runs. As he hit 57 against the Netherlands 11 just last year. You really see him accelerate at some points. As drinks breaks taken, just an over early. Really good over from Taranjeet Singh, just the 7 runs coming from it with a big wicket of the opener for Hungary. Marco Huja going for 21 runs off of 25 deliveries. Just couldn't really get going. Only the 2 boundaries for Ahuja, as brings in Stan Ahuja, the wicketkeeper, in to join Zahir Safi. Is just about to get ready to get underway after the drinks break. And it's Nasser Hussaini to continue. So he looks to go big, and I think he's picked the gap there, and he's done really well. The fielder, he's almost done enough there. Does the hard bit of getting there, just can't prevent the boundary as the ball just trickles over. He times this pretty well, doesn't he, Joe?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, very baseball-like hit, wasn't it? Kind of planted the feet, wide stance, and just struck it. I mean, very, very well hit, and another much-needed boundary for Hungary.
It's a good response, and Taranjeet Singh really does really well. Bit of a mix-up. I think he's going to be okay. He gets hit in the back. That's going to be sore. That will. Don't rub it. Right.
Safi very unhappy with his partner there for not running, wasn't he? He really wanted that single. Non-striker really didn't fancy it. Ahuja.
That's good work from Taranjeet Singh.
Safi very standard delivery-ish, isn't he? Plants those feet early. Hits the ball hard. Saini comes in again.
He looks to go big on the leg side and misses out once again.
Swing and a miss. Very much a swing and a miss. I mean, that's really well bowled actually. It's wide of that crease, but it's touching that kind of wide line, but just inside of it, and it's very clever bowling actually to try and hit that line.
Yeah, that's why Sahini been so economical in this tournament. As he goes short, he's not going to miss that. There's a man out there. He does well. He does really well to prevent the boundary there. Does Raj Kumar. And that's just going to be one. He stopped what would most certainly have been an extra 3 runs there as we take a look on the replay.
That's been hit very, very hard. He's done really well to get down to that. Very good piece of fielding from Kumar.
Just gets his body in front of it. And again, we can see body on the line here for his country.
Saini coming into bowl. Push down to that offside. I'm just going to take a single off that one. Nuja gets off the mark.
Gives us a chance. So let's wait in the YouTube chat. Let us know your thoughts on what's going on at the moment. It's going to be a really, really tight finish here.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see who people are thinking for this one. It's very close at the minute.
Wow, and again, here's Safi trying to go big as that brings an end to the 10th.
The one thing Hungary do have here is wickets in hand. They've only lost 2 wickets so far. And they're not that far behind the required run rate, so they do have that ability if they do want to push on at the end here in the kind of the second half of this innings.
No, absolutely. Just in between these overs, really, really looking to see as we have a look at what we've got tomorrow. Well, you're going to be up first, Joe. Gibraltar versus Bulgaria, which starts at 8:30 Central European, 6:30 GMT and 12 o'clock in India. And then we move to match 11, Czech Republic. Well, they'll be up against Romania here. And then moving to match 12, Romania. They got a double header as Bulgaria. They're back in. And you said earlier, you think you're really going to need to take a victory away from that game? Taranjit Singh's just in here. It's short. And it's played out to the man, and he's going to do well to cut that off, and he gets round, does really well. The man up there, there's a good bit of teamwork as they come back for the second. Good bit of running.
Yeah, look, I think the one game from this tour that we were looking at is obviously Bulgaria. We've played them before. Very 2 evenly matched teams, and I think if we can just play as well as we have done. Nicked away. There's going to be is there going to be a run on here? Or he's just fumbled it. But yeah, I think 2 very evenly matched teams in Gibraltar and Bulgaria, and I think it'll come down to who kind of performs on the day with that one. But yeah, it'd be nice to see if we can replicate some of the good positives we've taken from the first 3 games and just bring it all together. A few more runs on the board, and tight in the field.
Taranjit Singh continues. That's
huge. That's gone miles. That's gone over the stadium, bounced on the roof and into the play park. What a strike.
6 runs there for Safi as he keeps going here. Taranjit Singh just dropping his length again. And as we see there, bouncing off the top, that's a huge hit. And even though these boundary square are a little bit short, it just rocks back, picks the length. Well, they're going to have to go and get another ball, aren't they? They're not going to get that one back.
I mean, that's gone a fair distance. He's just connected with that beautifully. It's gone straight over the top of that, over the pavilion. Seen it a few times here at this ground. And Safi's the latest in the bunch to clear that pavilion end.
Well, if there's one thing we know about Safi, is do not drop it short. As he's so easy and so quick to just rock back onto his heels and dispatch it back over the boundary. That's a huge hit from Safi as he moves now to 35, just off of 24 deliveries. Doing a good job for his country here.
I think the thing is with Hungary, obviously, on the latest ICC rankings, obviously they've not been ranked due to their lack of games, I think it is last year. But if you look at them prior to that, they're ranked fairly highly, so they'd be up there. Singh comes in again.
He looks to go big. That's going to take some catching as it goes so high. Well, and he's parried it, and he's dropped it again as the man. And a deep mid-wicket, long on. And that's another live for Zahir Safi as it's Aftab Kayani down there, as we just see here. That's so high again. Sets himself, goes the Australian way and doesn't quite take it. He looks to go again.
This could be 4. Oh, I think that's gone all the way. I think that might be 6.
That's flat. That's gone all the way for Safi. It's a second 6 in the over. And he's really looking to push on now. As pendulum just looks like it's going to start swinging towards Hungary's way.
Yeah, and look, and this is why in this game you need to take your chances. I know we talk about it all the time in Gibraltar. Is look, you miss a chance and it can cost you dearly. And obviously it was a really difficult chance the ball before, but
he goes again, and that's going to be another boundary as he hits that well. It's just going to be the 4 this time, but this has turned out to be a really expensive over from Taranjeet Singh, not having the game that he would have wanted to. As well, Zay Safi saying, I'm not just a one-trick pony, I'm not just going to go leg side, and he dispatches that over the offside, and that's 4 runs. And
it's a big over that from Hungary.
Really big over. It's going to bring an end to the over for Hungary, and they've accelerated to 92 for 2 off of 11.
But we're just talking about it. The drop in that over proves costly. Okay, he hits the first one for 6, but you take in the second ball caught, changes the complexity of that over. Instead, he goes on to hit a couple more boundaries off it. And Hungary now are looking to take this game really to the Romanians. I'd say they're probably in pole position here.
Wow, there's a lot of pressure on Saini, as he's only gone for the 9 runs off his first 2 overs. But you do feel that if Romania are going to claw their way back into this, they really need to get the wicket of Safi. He's gone for 47 now, just 3 runs away from that 50. I don't know if he's going to be thinking about that one too much. There's still a long way to go here.
And that's what Hungary did well, didn't they? They got Singh and Zaini.
As it's just back of a length and placed into, well, yeah, just tries to get there, and Taranjeet comes round.
Yeah, so just looking back on that Romanian innings, Singh was looking set and looking to really take the game to Hungary. So was Zaini dead in that middle bit. They both got out in that 40s. I think this is what I think Romania are going to need to do here to Safi. They're going to have to get him quick because he could really end up causing more and more damage if he stays in.
He's a real destructive batsman, is Safi. As he's on strike now, just 3 needed for his 50. Again, we've seen it. He's just back of a length, just too close to him. He tries to play this over the offside. The one time he tries to play over the offside, probably might have been better going for the leg side.
It was well bowled though, well bowled from Saini.
Showing why he's one of the most economical bowlers here this week. And that one just stays a little bit low and swings. And again, you'd probably say that this one, nice drive through the covers would have been enough, but he just tried to swing this into the leg side.
That's a big swing and a miss. Very lucky not to dislocate his shoulders with that one. But Saini just frustrating the Hungarian batsmen. They don't really need to do this. They're doing well. That's a lot better shot.
Well. He's going to do well to cut that off. There's the man out there, and he's got a hand on it.
It's going to run for 4.
And, well, he's really, really unfortunate there, is Aftab Kayani, as he does really well to get round there as we take a look on the replay. And he gets a hand on it, but it's just not enough. As we just see here.
Yeah, he gets down really low, and oh, just
really unfortunate that for Kayani. It's another 4 for Zafi, and that's his 50, just off of 30 deliveries. It's a really good innings, but he really needs to build on here, get Hungary over the line. So he goes short. There's a man out there. Well, it's gone right through him. And I think he's just struggling with the sun there, and he's really lucky that that's gone right through him and not. And he's got his face out of the way.
Yeah, he looks like he lost that.
Just see there, goes right through him, and it's right at that height.
He's done well to get out of the way of that, actually, because if that's hitting that's hit so hard from Safi.
It's another missed opportunity, you do have to say. It's a tough one, but it is an opportunity. And
this is it. I mean, this wicket is huge for Romania at this point. Zafi obviously on 57, Ayuja only on 5. You know, Zafi's taking the strike and he's taking the game to Romania here.
And he's seeing it like a balloon now. Saini's in. Zach's just going to go through. And well, there's going to be a single, but I think he's just caught one here. Is he just looking like that one hurt a little bit?
I think that's the thing. We go back to that conversation about a set batsman, and you've got Zafi here who's now set. Keeping him in at this point is massive. I mean, Ayuja's not faced many. You bring in then another new batsman to the crease at the same time. it might just bog down the Hungarians again. So this is where you want Zaffi to really push on and he's made a good start, and obviously he's got a nice half century. For him to, at this point, you want to say to him, go on and finish the game. No,
absolutely. As we just see here, at the moment, Romania, Gibraltar and Bulgaria yet to trouble the points board. Romania, they're still in with a chance here. And obviously, Bulgaria and Gibraltar, well, they go at it first thing tomorrow, 8:30 Central European time, 6:30 GMT, 12 o'clock in India. And Joe, I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see the Bulgarians again. Obviously, we beat them in the round robin last time, and then unfortunately they exerted some revenge on us in the third place playoff when we were in a very, very good position. Went right down to the wire. A last ball victory for them. Needing 17 off the last over. It was a really disappointing result for us and a really disappointing day for that. So we'll be looking here tomorrow to really kind of try and take the game to them and try and really put on a good show for the guys back home in Gibraltar.
And just as we have time, who do you reckon their key batsman is you need to get early?
So, I mean, Lakov, they've got a couple of decent players and a couple of decent batsmen. I think Lakov is that talisman for Bulgaria for me. He kind of is that talismanic figure, both with bat and ball and in the field. And as much as he's not a huge striker of the ball, in the last few games that he's played, he's kind of held that that talisman role where he's batted through the 20 and allowed other batsmen like Silva around him to go on and make big score, to kind of push on. And I think if you kind of break that, I think get Lakov out early doors, and I think Bulgaria don't have that ability then for their bigger batsmen, their strike hitters, to really play with as much freedom. So I think Lakov's the guy for me who we need to get. But you know, in this format of the game, it can be any of them. De Silva, like we've seen today, and he's a very good striker of the ball, isn't he?
Yeah. A change of bowler at the far end. Tanjeet's been taken off as it's Hijaz Hussain. He's another good bowler for Hungary, for Romania. And again, we just see Ahuja just taking his time. There's no need to take any risks when you've got Big Safi at the other end, hitting it all over the park. That's Fuller, and that's a really nice shot out to the man and the leg side, and he does well. Cuts that one off, and it's just going to be the one run. It's good work from Nasu Saini out there.
I mean, this is a big game for Hungary. I mean, we've been talking about the Czech Republic, and obviously Malta have already made the final, but Hungary having to win in this will be their third win. They're still in with a shot.
Absolutely. As he's saying, back in. And Safi, he's tried to really hit that hard. Almost overhit that. And it's just going to run through to Abdul Shakur. He's had another good game behind the sticks. Not really been much asked of him. There's that one just nipping in off the seam a little bit from Hussain.
So we have one more game after this, and that'll be against the Czech Republic. If they do win here today, that could be a really big clash.
And Safi looks to go big, and he's got all of that. It's going to go for 4 runs all the way. And Safi, he's really looking set now. And you do feel that every single time that this man connects, it's just slowly getting taken away from Romania here. There's a few hands on heads as they just try and work out what they can do here to get the man. Yeah,
he's just accelerating his innings now. He's seeing it really well. He's connecting it with it really well. And yeah, Romania have really got to get him out. Or I think this is game. He's probably really looking towards Hungary for taking the win.
Well, you see that at this stage, Romania, 99 for 4. So Hungary, better in both departments at the moment. He doesn't get all of this. It should just be cut off for 1. So the man out there does a good job. And it's just going to be a single. Good work from Gaurav Mishra out there.
It'd be interesting to see how many minutes that Ahuja's been at the crease here, because he's only faced 6 balls.
That's a very good point. He's been there for a while, hasn't really faced that much. But he starved with the strike a little bit. And he's on strike now. That's a full toss. And that could be a no ball, and it is. There's an apology straight away from Hussain.
Big opportunity here for Ahuja just to kind of, having not faced many balls, have a kind of a free shot at it. Get yourself a nice little boundary off a free hit at the start of your innings. Get yourself set. I think they've been quite clever, Hungary. They've kept Zaffi on strike as much as possible, and he's really taken it to Romania.
Well, here we go. It's free hit time. He looks get inventive and doesn't quite come off. And I think, well, wicketkeeper there just saying, none of that. And at the end of the over, Hungary, 110 for 2. Now we see that. There's another wicket would have fallen there at the same time for Romania, so they would have been 100 for 5. And Hungary, well, 10 runs to the better. 3 wickets in hand on them. And once again, Safi, 62 off of just 34 balls. 5 fours and 5 maximums. Some real big hitting for Safi. Well, just 7 overs remaining now. The equation. 49 required off of 42, and you have to say, Romania, if they're going to have any chance here, they really need to get this man here, Sahir Safi. And it's Rajkumar returning. Good bit of work out in the outfield earlier on. He returns to continue his spell here. All right, looks to go big, and this has gone high. It's going to take some catching, and it's just going to fall right in between the fielders. And you do feel that if this is just going to be one of those days for Safi, he's had so many chances, and he's really gifting them. They just can't take it, can they, Romania?
Yeah, that's just fallen short of, hasn't it? Just fallen short of Mishra, who's standing here in front of us in the commentary box. Bit of luck.
He goes big again. He's timed that really well.
That's going to run away. Oh, it's really well fielded. I don't know if he's safe.
Really well.
Oh, and again.
And I think he's done enough there. I think he's really done. There's applause from everyone. I think he has done really well there. Has after Abkhan. As we take another look here. Really good work from the team at Spring Productions. He's all right there. And I think he's good there as well. Yeah, he's done really well there, hasn't he? Good bit of work. And he's well backed up by his teammate. Could that be just a turning point, just to lift the Romanians a bit here? And he goes. Well, there's an appeal. I think it's a bump ball. Sathisan, the captain. Bit of an appeal.
It definitely felt like a bum ball to me. It definitely felt like a bum ball.
I think we might be able to get a replay. So we have a look here. I think it's a bump ball.
It's definitely a bum
It's
ball.
a good call from the umpires. Has Mishra just given us a smile saying, no, okay. It's the confirmation from us here.
Look, Romania have got to try and really put the pressure here.
That's going to be a wide, yeah. That's a good take from the keeper. He's had quite a few of those to deal with.
I mean, there's no harm in asking the question for things like that. There's times we've seen where people have an appeal thinking it's not out, and then it turns out to be out. So Romania haven't got anything to lose by appealing for it, but it was quite clearly a bum ball.
And he gets this again, and there's a man. It's the same man again. He's running out there. He's doing really good work, and again, does really well on that boundary. And it's just going to be 2 runs. Really good bit of work by Aftab Kayani out there.
Aftab Kayani's having an absolute... They just keep picking him out, and he's flying across boundaries. That's the 3rd time I've seen it where he's absolutely had to throw himself full stretch to try and stop the ball. He's done it again, though. He's kind of got down to it. Oh, joy.
Good bit of work.
Yeah, good bit of work.
Rajkumar. This is leg side, and he's got all of that. That's going to go all the way. That's another 6. Well, Safi, he's going big, and he's really taking it to the bowlers now as that takes him into the 70s. And that 6 is absolutely huge from Safi. He's not going to miss out there. Seeing it so many times from Safi as he just rocks back. He's really good when he's in at judging the length. And he just rocks back. And that's another 6 runs. Can he finish strong here, Kumar? As he's hit that really well. That's going to be another 4. He has timed the absolute pants off that. And that's going to go for 4 runs.
That's a lovely stroke. Huh?
Going to have to have a look at the ball there. As it's smashed into the wall. And it's a really strong finish. And you do feel that might just be the game there now. As it comes under to less than run a ball. As Hungary, they finished the 14th on 127 for 2.
Yeah, it does look like Hungary are taking control of this game, but never say never. We saw an interesting game yesterday between Bulgaria and Hungary. Obviously, Hungary again coming out on top on that one. But yeah, I think I had a shower, tuned in with 3 overs to go, and thought, oh, here we go. Bulgaria going to get their first win. in the end, Hungary won quite comfortably, didn't they? Incredible finish to that game.
Last ball, thriller. Again, obviously. Normally on ECN, you have the opportunity of a golden ball, but none of that here in the international T20s. There's going to be another change of bowling at the top. Well, actually, should be actually saying to continue, as that's the end of Raj Kumar, as he goes for 43 off of his 4 overs, and it is Hussain to continue. Oh, and he's gone, he's got him. And the man has to go, Stan Ahuja. He's just punched this back to the bowler, and it's a really good caught and bowled. As we just take a replay here. Does really well, just mistimes this, and it just pops up.
Yeah, really good take there. Really good take, but that's something I've noticed about the Romanian. Heads seemed to be down a minute. There wasn't really much of a celebration. I had to think there if it was a bump ball, because it almost appeared like there wasn't a celebration at all from anyone. And this is where, you know, from a Gibraltar standpoint, I try and get everyone, look, you can't let your heads drop at this point. You're still in the game. You've got to keep going at this point. You've got to keep pushing. Anything can happen. It's a T20. You've got to keep pushing. One wicket brings another one. You've got to keep pushing here, Romania. And heads, can't let your heads drop.
Yeah, it's a long time in the field. You really have got to keep the energy levels up all the way through to the end, as that wicket brings new batsmen in. But the key man, Zahir Safi, still there, 78 off of just 41. As well, it's one of your favourite players, Mandian. He's in, and there's a lot of pressure on him now. Just 32 required off of 35 deliveries.
I think he's hit probably my favourite shot of the tournament so far, when he nearly hit it into you in the score, when he kind of manoeuvred a shot over the top of his head the other day against, I think it was Malta. Just think, oh, decent pace. Thinking, wow, that's a clever piece of batting. He also hit a reverse sweep, which ended up in the nets, and you're thinking, yeah, this guy can bat. He's a clever cricketer. He obviously sees the ball very, very well, and tries and manoeuvres that field.
That's his name. That's his first wicket here, and well, he went for the 7 off of his first over. And again, really, really good to have your company in the live chat here on YouTube, on the European Cricket Network, and in fan code in India. We're in for another tight finish here. There's always a thrill up here on the European Cricket Network, as he's saying. Mandian just sensibly plays this into the leg side and gets the main man. Zafi back on strike, and I think Mandian, he's a good enough batsman to know that he's just got to rotate the strike and just get the main man on here. There really doesn't need to be any risk taken now. They're going to try and not let this go too deep, but they're just 31 now, 34. I do feel that he's just going to do his job here. Safi's on strike. Looks to go big into the leg side. There's a man out there. And is he taking it?
What a catch. What a catch that is. He has taken that on the run. Full stretch dive. And what a huge wicket that is. Zafi goes for 78. But what a take. Fantastic. And this is what I said about keeping your heads up. Look, one wicket brings another. And the big man goes literally straight after that wicket in the last over.
Well, it's that man there. That's Hussaini. That's Hussaini taking a really good catch. But you have to say, applause go out to Zahir Safi. A really, really good innings. 78 off of 42 deliveries. And well, you see there, 6 sixes in his innings and 6 fours as well. Some serious power hitting from him. And you just know this game just isn't over yet. Just get a feel, same as yesterday. You just feel that there's going to be a little twist here.
Does the pendulum swing on? Once again, we now have 2 new batsmen. One who's faced one ball, the other who's brand new to the crease. And this is where wickets are huge in T20. For me personally, I think wickets are massive. It brings that aspect of now you've got to rebuild. You've got 2 players, I think at this level, who it's very difficult to go from ball 1. And this is where Romania now have to squeeze and really put the pressure on them.
Well, they can win this in singles. Can Hungary. This is going to be down a leg, and that's not going to help at all. That's just a free run. Oh, Hungary, and it's now the equation. Well,
this is what you can't afford. You can't afford at this point, with not many runs left to chase, to be bowling extras. And I think this is something we try to emphasise to our guys is, look, extras can prove really costly. Really, really costly.
Especially at this level. Extras are a really big contributor to the runs. Like you're saying, it's his fault. It's just played back to him. He misfielded it.
They don't fancy it. Didn't fancy taking a 1. This is where Hungarians have got to be alive as well. They've got to, with 2 new batters, not refuse runs, push the singles when they can, trying to avoid those dot balls.
Well, absolutely. It's a really, really big over here. 2 wickets coming. And they're going to get a cheeky single in here. And that's just going to end up being a leg by, signalled by the umpire. And his name, wow. A lot of questions now asked of these two. It's the protractor. Ketapal, he's in. He probably wasn't expecting to be needed when he had Safi going big. But once again, he's going to have to do a job for Hungary with the bat. Him and Mandian, more than capable.
Yeah, look, Ketapal did it against us when Hungary were looking in a bit of a precarious situation. He came in, very agricultural, but...
There's that one. Just plays back to the bowler. And that's a really good end to a really, really tight over from Hussein with the 2 wickets coming from it. It leaves Hungary after 15, 130 for 4.
Yeah, I think, look, like I was saying, I think Hungary is still in pole position here. I think they've been in this position before. I think they were probably in a worse position when they were playing in us just a few games ago, and they've got plenty of overs here. They've got 5 overs to get what they need. Ketapal and Mandin at the crease, and they're both decent enough players to get this over the line, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, in that last over, just the 2 runs, but more importantly, the 2 wickets and the wicket of the main man, Sahi, well, you do just start to feel, could that be a swing again? And there's just a bit of noise now out there for Romania. And Sathisan, well, the skipper, he's bringing himself onto bowl. We saw him earlier on. Sathisan, he's taken matters into his own hands now. But he did this again against Malta. It didn't unfortunately pay off. But he just sort of says, well, there's going to be a man to do. I'm going to lead by example. Take the front edge here. So it's just a couple of fielding changes. It's that man, Mandian, on strike. Sathisan. Just short and just clipped into the leg side. And the thing is, I think you will see is Mandian's going to really try and push these 1s into 2s. But I think Ketapal, I don't know how keen he's going to be. Obviously, they don't need to push really. Just under a run of ball now. If they can keep, there's loads of, you can see there's loads of gaps in the field. Plenty of gaps in the leg side, especially, which these 2 will definitely look to eye up as Garrison just comes in there.
There's always that temptation to go hard, isn't there, and just get it over and done with. There you go.
Ketapal looks to do so, but he does
6.
it with really good execution.
No,
and he's
4.
given it 4 runs. Well, I think we'll have a look here. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. It's very difficult to see from this commentary. It looked like it went. It was very close. Oh, wow.
Good call from the umpire as it just bounced in front.
Very close to the rope, that one. But yeah, this is it. If always that temptation with to kind of push on, isn't there, and try and get it done quicker rather than go at 1 a ball.
And he goes again. Well, there's no doubt about where this is going to go. That's 6 runs, and that's into the car park of the golf range there. And Ketapal, well, he's saying, well, you're saying you don't want to let me take this too deep. Well, I'm going to try and get this finish in this over. And again, you can just see rocking back onto his heels. A good view of the length pretty early. Picks it up, and that's gone all the way. 6 runs for Hungary.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That's a fantastic strike. And just dropping that length just a bit too short. Can't really afford to do that. To Ketapal, sits back, rocks back, and has clattered that all the way into the tennis course. Very big hit from Ketapal.
Well, they move on here, Hungary, to 141. Just needing 18 now for victory off of 27 deliveries. 4 and over now. Ketapal has an edge. Well, when you think things are good, just can't get any better, worse for you. It's an edge, and it's not going to go all the way. It's well done by the man down there. Cosmin Zavari doing really good job down there as he chases away, and it's just going to be another 2 runs to the total.
Yeah, it's one thing I'd say about Hungary. They seem to be very, very good in pressure situations. I don't know whether they've been in these experiences often before, but they look calm and composed. They came through a difficult game against Gibraltar. They came through a very, very difficult game yesterday against Bulgaria. Both games where they were looking in precarious situations.
There's an appeal there. And umpire Sherb just says no. So Thiso, he's just asking, well, I want to know why. As you do have to say, he's got a pretty good point there.
Yeah, I mean,
bit of a full toss, but he misses it.
It was a really full toss, slow ball, kind of dipped on him. And kind of, do wonder what. I want to ask the question there. That was maybe a bit of an escape from Hungary.
Well, it brings Mandian on strike. Ah, it's a really good ball from Sathisan. It's a really good way to finish the over. Well, concedes 13 off of his over. It leaves Hungary down 144 for 4 after the 16th, just needing 15 runs for victory. I just want to take this time just to thank you, Joe. Thanks for coming on air with me.
Pleasure.
Thanks for joining. It's really been really enjoyed getting an insight just sort of in the Gibraltar camp and just getting your thoughts on a couple of things. And it's been nice to have a bit of company here in the box. It's a bit lonely here on my own. It's a little bit lonely, but it just makes it a little bit better when you've got a really tight game of cricket here. And obviously looking forward to Gibraltar versus Bulgaria tomorrow. And I'm sure you're going to get well rested tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Back from here, nice team meal, and then an early night, very early start in the morning.
No, absolutely. And we're going to see that man again who's saying he's going to continue it. 2 wickets just for 2 runs in his previous over. Ketapal on strike. Looks to go big, but doesn't quite get it. That's a good bit of fielding from Hussain, as it's just a dot ball to start. Going to need plenty more of those. Ah, well, he's absolutely timed the pants off that, and that's going to go for 4. And well, you have to say, if you're going to bowl it short and wide outside the off stump, it's going to get punished, and Ketapal's not going to miss out there.
Absolutely creamed. He's creamed that 3-point. Yeah, and you know that's not really what you want to start the over.
It's almost into the single figures now. Remaining just 11 required. And you have to say, I just think the game's just almost gone now for Romania. As Hungary, well, the unranked team by the ICC, looking to make it 3 wins now here in the tournament. Ketapal looks to go big, doesn't quite time it, should just be cut off for the 1. And it looks like it is going to be cut off by the man out there.
Yeah, look, you have to say what a great response from the Hungarian team. After losing their first game, coming through a very tight game against Gibraltar, you know, you're looking now they're more than likely to win 3 games in a row. And hey, if you're in the Hungarian camp, you'll be thinking, we have a really good chance here of getting into the final. And we go against Malta again.
Harsh Mandian.
This could be out.
Oh, it's a really good effort from the man out in the deep. Doesn't quite take hold of it. He does the hard work of getting there. Gets a good dive in, but
yeah, it looked like he made it, didn't he? He got there quite quickly, got down to it, just bounces out of his hands.
And ends up being a 1 run. He's ring this man the protractor. 17 off 18 for Ketapal. 9 needed now. This is really sensible cricket now. Not taking any unnecessary risks. Just going to keep this ticking over. And you almost wonder, well, if you're Romania, do you just bring the field in now? Is they're just going to look to make the most of the gaps here?
Yeah, I think at this point, you've got to leaving players out. In normal situations, you just drop and run.
Which is what he tries to do here, but just can't manufacture it.
I think
onto the leg side.
Mandin's that kind of player that he's quite clever and will do that. I think Ketapal is just looking to finish this as soon as possible.
Ketapal's got somewhere to be, clearly, as that brings us to the end of the 17th. Hungary, they're 151 for 4, just needing 8 runs now required for victory. As we see, it's a little bit of a lack of energy now in the Hungary camp, and I think they're sort of almost submitting defeat. But you never know. We've seen crazy things happen here on the ECN, and they're bringing on the most economical bowler.
Yeah, Romania, you can just see it. The heads are down. The energy's gone. It's very difficult at this point to somehow kind of keep your heads up, which is why it's so impressive of kind of what Hungary did yesterday. I think the difference between Hungary and Bulgaria yesterday is obviously Hungary have still got wickets in the shed. Right? I think the difference was yesterday Hungary took those Bulgarian wickets, and it just proved costly for Bulgaria at the end there.
Here we go. Full toss, and that's going to go over the man. It's going to take quite a lot to get round there, and I don't think he's going to get there well, and Ketapal doesn't quite catch all of this, and he's really taking it by the scruff of the neck. Here's Ketapal of the Romanians, and he's just Full toss, and that's going to go for 4 runs for Hungary. Just 4 runs away now, 1 hit.
Yeah, I think Ketapal will look to finish it with 1 big shot here. Will he go 4? Will he go 6?
Well, and it's just evades the man there, and it should just be the single. And it brings man down on strike. Well, is he going to try something funky? We know he likes to bring out some inventive shots.
I'd love to see him finish it with something funky here.
I'm sure we all would.
Reverse sweep. Scoop.
Well, there is no one at fine leg, is there?
No, there is no fine leg in, so I would be interested if he just moves across that offside, just flicks it round the corner.
There's a possibility as we go. He holds his base and he goes big. Well, there's no need to play shots like that when you can just sit back, take 1D down, and it goes all the way, 6 runs, and that's going to be the game for Hungary. Really, really good bit of batting. Really well-paced innings from the Hungarians there. And obviously big hand to Zahir Safi and with his contribution with the bat. And as he ended up on a really, really good total there. And Romania, well, highest ranked team going into this. And that's 2 losses now from 2 games. So really going to be looking to make an improvement as we have a look at the highlights here. And again, really, really good to see a nice tight finish again. And Hungary, they're going to be really, really happy with the way that they're going about things. Not much cricket for them last year, 2021, but they've done the job here. Zahir Safi, 78 off the 42 deliveries. They've given them a few chances, but you do feel they just, if they took those chances, and it might have been a different story. And again, just look at this here. So here's this one. One of the chances of many when they went a begging. And this one had snow on it as it came down. Really tough ask, but again, really good to see a good close finish here. And once again, just like the rest of the games, all played in really good spirit. You see highlights, obviously just going absolutely Zahir Safi, going massive. Well, I'm going to take this time to thank all the viewers, for anyone who's watching on the European Cricket Network YouTube channel, for your contributions in the chat. Once again, really, really enjoyed it. And for those watching in India on fan code, hope you've enjoyed the coverage here once again. And just another quick thank you to the crew, Maxi, Samir and the crew at Spring Productions, doing an incredible job as always, and the officials here in Malta. Well, Joe, time to say goodbye. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here, mate. Really appreciate you taking the time, coming down to talk everything cricket.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Nice little game of cricket there to watch. Nice to be on the other side of the road for a change. But it's a pleasure. Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for listening to me. Hope the viewers at home who were watching enjoyed the commentary.
Absolutely, you've done a really good job. As you just see the end of the highlights here in Ketapal, well, he went big at the end, didn't he? Really proving it doesn't matter if you come in late, he's still going to do a job for you. And as we just see here, another chance goes begging. You just do have to think, what happens if the chances are taken? But